studying the source now. Supreme Elite, New Empire talk. Came on reading numbers, they were reading memes. He was reading violence, planning out the dream. Turn every late fee into case law heat. Judge bang gavel, he don't skip a beat. They like how you flip stress into assets, how you turn a loss into last check. Thomas took notes, broke codes, then he proved it. Now the classroom global and the language fluid. Thomas is the blueprint. Write that in the sky, let the crew print. From the courtroom smoke to the new man. He designed the way we move our 2 cents. Thomas is the blueprint. Supreme Elite team, that's the school stamp. From the first late bill to the full camp. New culture empire, watch the flag plan. Supreme Elite Team University. Turn the credit score into currency. Turn the closed door to a first key. Turn the side job to a legacy. He beat odds, then he beat litigation. Now we teach law like a new translation. From confusion into consultation. From survival into foundation. They log in, lights on in their eyes now. Section this, call that. They reply now. He like, know your rights, then apply now. God, that's the real drip. Let it dry now. Thomas is the blueprint. Write that in the sky, let the crew print. From the courtroom smoke to the new man. He designed the way we move our 2 cents. Thomas is the blueprint. Supreme Elite team, that's the school stamp. Wave it from the first late bill to the full camp. New culture empire, watch the flag plan. From the bench to the block, he reversed that. Put the power in the pen, yeah, he birthed that. Every mind that he frees, that's a verse that. Whole culture on the rise, you can search that. Hey. Thomas is the blueprint. Write that in the sky, let the blueprint. From the courtroom smoke to the new man. He designed the way we move our 2 cents. Thomas is the blueprint. Supreme Elite team, that's the school stamp. From the first late bill to the full camp. New culture empire, watch the flag plan.
You're rocking with the best.
Yeah. We ain't done. Y'all know what the fuck it is, man. Let's go. Oh my God, it's that. I'm not even at my best yet. I can't slow down, it's a death threat. She said, oh, it's really cause of me. I'm like, yes. Diamonds in the cut, I ain't need a medic. Like a brown skin, big booty, yeah. And her name and legacy set. I'm not your girl. Don't call me a legacy. Sorry, you right. That's my bad. That shit get tricky when you running out of bands and the crew really like me. I'm the man. I'm like, girl, I'm in the zone. I'm like, girl, leave me alone. We done made it all the way from basement home. So what the fuck do you want? Yeah. Like, girl, what you want? I told her do not call my phone. I told her do not call my phone. And now they all on my drip. It's really all on my drip. Hey, we really all in the mix.
We're about to take it back. Bring that one back from the top. You're rocking with the best.
Yeah. We ain't done. Y'all know what the fuck it is, man. Let's go. Oh my God, it's that. I'm not even at my best yet. I can't slow down, it's a death threat. She said, oh, it's really cause of me. I'm like, yes. Diamonds in the cut, I ain't need a medic. Like a brown skin, big booty, yeah. And her name and legacy set. I'm not your girl. Don't call me a legacy. Sorry, you right. That's my bad. That shit get tricky when you running out of bands and the crew really like me. I'm the man. I'm like, girl, I'm in the zone. I'm like, girl, leave me alone. We done made it all the way from basement home. So what the fuck do you want? Yeah. Like, girl, what you want? I told her do not call my phone. I told her do not call my phone. And now they all on my drip. It's really all on my drip. Hey, we really all in the mix. It's It's really all in the mix, yeah. Oh my god, this that. I'm not even at my best, yeah. I can slow down, it's a death threat. She said, oh, it's really cause of me, yeah. I'm like, yes. Said I'm not your girl, don't call me Alex. Sorry, you right, that's my bad. That shit get tricky when you run a little bands and the crew really like me. I'm the man, I'm like, girl, I'm in the zone. I'm like, girl, leave me alone. We done made it all the way from basement home. So what the fuck do you want? Yeah, like, girl, what you want? I told her do not call my phone. I told her do not call my phone. You can't play with us. All my baddies by my side, I be whipping in a noodle. You can see me when I slide. All my baddies on my team, ain't no playing with my team. When I pull up to the scene, bitches all up on my okay, new slide. You know what I do, right? Yeah, she got a new vibe. All up on my new ride. Like, girl, what you want? We ain't got no problem. Girl, I don't want. You know what I want. I know what you want. Let's get what we want. I know that they talking. But I don't believe all the hype. They all on my drip. All in the mix. They all on my drip. They all on my drip, and now they all on my drip. It's really all my drip. Wait, we really all in the mix. It's really all in the mix. Only if my guy got this, that. I'm not even at my best, yeah. I can slow down, it's a death threat. She said, oh, it's really cause of me. I'm like,
You're rocking with the best.
Wait up, run it up. I'm in the kitchen, cooking up something new, yeah. She's singing along to our favorite tune, wow. Enjoying the breeze from Toronto. That time I watched the show. You seem like you had something to share. What's up? I thought so. Okay. I'm back in this game, now you're waiting on the bench. I thought so. Okay. He's back in this place like he had left something behind. Celebration for tonight. I'm feeling ready for the night. Confidence high, we making moments to remember. And leaving behind the worries, moving forward, favor. Got a plan but no rush, just taking it slower is better.
Bring that one back from the top. You're rocking with the best.
Wait up, run it up. I'm in the kitchen, cooking up something new, yeah. She's singing along to our favorite tune, wow. Enjoying the breeze from Toronto. Admiring my watch at the show. You seem like you had something to share. What's up? I thought so. Okay. I'm back in this game, now you're waiting on the bench. I thought so. Okay. He's back in this place like he had left something behind. Celebration for tonight. I'm feeling ready for the night. Confidence high, we making moments to remember. And leaving behind the worries, moving forward, favor. Got a plan but no rush, just taking it slower is better. Embracing the job with friend and enjoy it, right? My confidence never wavers when I'm focused on the table. No time for negativity, let's lift up. This energy's electric, bringing us together. Feeling alive and fulfilled. Shawty saying that I am the one. Who does she think she's talking to? She wants someone who brings unity. After freshening up with a clean routine, the momentum's back, Greek inspired and free.
You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best.
Another firm has started their investigation, but then you have my lawsuit. Now, why does my lawsuit so damaging to credit acceptance? It puts them between a rock and a hard spot because
don't miss out on this opportunity to litigate like a seasoned professional. Join the Supreme Elite Team University.
Thomas in the lobby, folded thicker than a skyline. Credit acceptance on a resume with stories in the fine lines.
Don't miss out on this opportunity to litigate like a
the regulatory lens is so important because it tells all of you, they look down, all of you. If it didn't do it like this, you're supposed to do it like this. You're supposed to account for it like this. You're supposed to report it as this. So now with SetU, we get not only how they account for things with the classic examples, we get how they're supposed to account for. So now that we know that there's a difference between how they account for these items and how they're supposed to account for these items, now we get to figuring out why they don't account for these items the correct way. And once we figure out, like we've been doing, why they don't do it, now we understand where their exposure lies.
They told you this was just a loan, but they never showed you the full transaction. While you're looking at a contract, they're reporting assets, liabilities, and net positions on balance sheets. This is where most people get it wrong. They look at one lens and think they understand the deal. SetU teaches 5 lenses of the consumer contract: court, regulatory, corporate finance, investor, consumer. Because in the real world, these transactions don't stop at the contract. When receivables are transferred into trusts, it's not about what it looks like. What you see and what they report are not the same. As a courtesy, we invite you for a sneak peek inside the highly popular Supreme Elite Team University, brought to you by the New Culture Empire.
Now, week 1 is a fair value overview. This is what the corporate professionals want to keep in-house only. These measurements in this section is not anything that you are going to find outside of that world, to be honest with you, because all these depict on how they account for these things internally. There's a difference between how they account for these things internally and what they present or submit to the SEC. They submit these things to the SEC. They're pretty much unaudited. And the way you kind of get the leg up on them is you kind of got to read what they and what we study, what they submit to the SEC, and continue to go over prior years to see the consistency. Because if they consistently do something a certain way, then there's a chance that they're doing it the same way with you. And this is why, like in my lawsuit, I said I went through 5 years of their balance sheets and they've been consistent. So it's either my contract was the only one out of hundreds of thousands that they decided not to, or is mine part of the same thing? You know what I'm saying? So that's how you find this is why you go back, not just 2025, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. Central question. Every financial instrument has 2 simultaneous realities. Now, the question is, what are those realities? And they're going on at the same time. One singular contract. And we're going to compartmentalize this just to the consumer and corporate side, and not so much of the court, SEC, and investor side yet. So in this moment, you got 2 transactions going on at the same time. You got the consumer side, which presented to us. Then we got the corporate side, how they're really looking at this. And that is the contractual balance, the legally enforceable scheduled amount, and then you have the economic value. the market-based measurement of expected cash flow. That's why receivables so powerful in this world. It's the receivables. Now, they are not the same. They serve different purposes, but by God, they are both real. Understanding that difference is the foundation of financial literacy at a professional level. Courts enforce contracts based on legal terms. Accountants measure contracts based on economic substance. And regulators supervise institutions based on risk values. Investors price instruments based on expected performance, and markets never price at fair face value without risk adjustment. That's the allowance for credit laws. That's the deteriorations. That's what that is. So they're going to book them at the fair value with the allowance for credit laws on the back end. Value leads to confusion in securitization analysis, which y'all see all day, every day. Impairment modeling, that very few people really understands with accounting standpoint. Credit loss recognition, fair value disclosure, litigation strategy, and settlement valuation. And this week is going to build that foundation. And when I mean this week, that means this week going into the next week. Now, one of the core concepts of this is the contractual balance reflects the amounts financed, the finance charge, total of payments, payment schedules, legal remedies upon default. That's totally on the consumer side, and that is very real. I don't want you to think that that's not what they can do. They very well can do that, and then many times it's going to be upheld in court. Now, from the credit acceptance contract example, you have the amounts financed at $22,728. You have the finance charge of $18,386.90. You got the total payments of $41,115.36 and a total sales price of $43,815.36. But you will notice, and I'll explain to y'all during next week, is when credit acceptance actually removed my balance, you notice they never removed the $43,815.36. They actually only removed $19,000, the principal balance remaining. So where would the extra, 25, 26, 27,000 go? Where did that go? Because when they removed the balance, when they showed the waived, it was only the 19,000. That was the principal left. But we have 43,000 here. Because that extra 25 to 27,000 was just all extra. That's all it was to them. So there was nothing for them to actually remove because they never got it yet. Y'all get what I'm saying? But it shows up on the contract. So this allows them to enforce this amount. But behind the scenes, that amount right there is all extra. It's not actually accounted for as part of the obligation. They measure the total economic value based on that amount, but that's not the amount that they actually saying you're going to get this. And this is why they have pools, because everybody's going to help each other cover each other's debt based on those securities that they're issuing. Yeah, you're starting to understand why the whole 43,000 wasn't removed, but only the principal remaining balance of 19 was removed. This is how accounting works. Now, this represents the legal structure of the obligation, and it is enforceable, but it's not necessarily the economic value of the receivable on a financial statement. And this is why it showed only 19,000 removed instead of the 43,000. Now, that measures the discounted value of expected future cash flows. The key elements: the time value of money, credit risk, expected default probability, recovery assumptions, discount rate. If I were buying this receivable today, what would I pay for? That answer is almost never the total contractual payments. And I'm going to keep saying it so you won't have the perception that they're trading these based on the 43,815. I mean, some of you are investors. Some of y'all invested, crypto's kind of the same thing. Why would I pay 43,000 just to get 43,000? You get what I'm saying? It's always going to be discount because it makes no economic sense. No rookie investor, and this is why when it hits the secondary market, all these things are discounted. is defined at the price that will be received to sell an asset or paid to transfer a liability in an orderly transaction between market participants. This is an exit price concept. It is market based and it is risk adjustment. It is not the face value of the contract. Now, the application across systems. In the consumer context, the borrower sees your total of payments, your monthly obligation, and the contract interest rate. The lender's accounting department sees net receivable, allowance for credit loss, present value measurement, and the yield. How much are we making after we pay interest on these? Now, one contract, I'm gonna highlight it again. One contract looked at from two different angles. This is the consumer and the corporate finance view of this contract. And Mr. Steven and them, who sits on the board of directors of accounting at the business law school, shout out for y'all amazing investigation and y'all amazing paper that served as the focal point of class 3. Shout out to that business law school. And shout out to the contributors that sit on the American Accounting Association. I got to shout out William and Mary School of Law. I got to shout out all the universities who's contributed, whose papers contributed. Shout out to the faculty. And shout out to the American Accounting Association and the board of directors. Shout out to the ISAB. Shout out to all the top elite professionals who were so kind enough to put their professional opinions out there, and the Supreme Elite team, we just soaked it up. We were a sponge. Shout out to the SEC attorney. He's been very instrumental. Shout out to the homie T-Dot with the connections. Shout out to the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac IT workers. Shout out to you. That was a beautiful phone call. Shout out to the ex-Deloitte and Federal Reserve chair who took the time to even read one of my documents. Shout out to T-Dot with that connection. Shout out to you, man. May you have another blessed 80 years. I've learned a lot from you, and I haven't even met you face to face, man. Shout out to you.
Don't miss out on this opportunity to litigate like a seasoned professional. Join the Supreme Elite Team University.
Thomas in the lobby, folded thicker than a skyline, credit acceptance.
If you haven't already, take advantage of this special offer. Set U enrollment fee is now only $14.99, now through April 30th. Now stay tuned for the New Cultures Replay gang, and stay locked in for the latest live streams, videos, and content. All inquiries should be sent to thomaslegacy603@gmail.com.
They studying the source now. Supreme Elite. New Empire talk. Came on reading numbers. They were reading memes. He was reading filings. Planning out the dream. Turn every late fee into case law heat.
Further ado, Big X the plug.
You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best.
Welcome to today's live show, y'all. This is the New Culture Empire and associated with the Supreme Elite Team and the Accrual Kind of Collection Agency. We are back for another live review. Fair use, fair use, fair use. All jokes aside, I'm going to review the live objective, regardless of how I personally feel. I'm going to be objective. If she's making good points, I'm going to say it. I'm going to be very objective. Shout out to the one. Always coming through.
You're rocking with the best.
And regardless of my critique, if there is something that you can benefit from the video, take it with a grain of salt. Do your further research. If you could benefit from it, go ahead. Hey, it may be something I may benefit from. I may learn something today. No, you never stop learning. The grind never stops. But I will pause and stop and comment on things that I may find as a contradiction. But like I said, it's just my personal opinion. Even what I say, continue to do your research on your own. But y'all should know, like with me, I kind of, before I really talk, I kind of did my third research already. You know, I really don't like to talk and don't know what I'm talking about. It just makes for a bad teaching session. Shout out to Dan.
You're rocking with the best.
Hopefully, we can get through this whole video uninterrupted. Actually, I was going to have Cora B from the Cora B show, the one who kind of started this train. She had a 1 second, y'all. So I'm reviewing this right Paths to Freedom. Paths to Freedom. Hopefully I can get Cora B on here on the panel too to review with me. Hopefully I just texted her now, so that'll be a good look. We're going to be doing a lot of more stuff in the Patreon. Yeah, I will have the Patreon up and running Monday. Exclusive videos, exclusive documents, exclusive videos from the webinars. It's all going to be in the Patreon. Now, your membership on YouTube, I will still be dropping videos there for the members only. I have another video that's popping up. I don't like to drop the videos back to back to back because I don't think that I don't want to convolute you with so much information that you're not really getting it, grasp it. So I drop them, you know, monthly so you can actually get something from it. I don't want to just drop it because the videos that I have, they're all centered around understanding. You don't get to the execution before you get to the understanding. I don't know why people still believe that execution comes before understanding. Stop taking the easy road out. Stop taking the easy way out. Stop trying to just get straight to the how do I fill this out? What do I send in? It never works that. It never lasts long that way. And then people get mad and y'all know how the story goes. I told y'all this is highly advanced stuff. You can't water it down. You can't make it seem like it's so easy because it is not easy. It's not even easy achieving a set off. It's not easy. None of this stuff is easy. None of it's easy. It takes a lot of time, effort, and understanding to be successful. It's not easy. It's not a 30-day process. It's not a 60-day process. It can be anywhere from 30 days to a few years. That's just the reality of it. This 30, 45-day shit, 2-week shit, that's a lie. It's a lie. It's a flat out lie. The only thing that's probably within a few weeks is your regular tax return from your W-2s. That's probably the only thing that's about 3 weeks or so. Anything outside of that is a special return, special circumstances where a lot of investigation and examination is going to take place. It's not an easy, all right, let me just come over here because I need this paid fast. It doesn't work like that. The minute people figure that out, the minute that they will recalibrate their value system and focus on something different. So without further ado, we're about to get started with Tamika. Miss Tamika from Paths to Freedom. Let's see if we can cue it up. All right. This is, let's go.
This 3-day challenge is
Okay, so this is a 3-day challenge. I just said it's not a yo, I just said it's not a, so this is a 3-day, okay, 3-day challenge it is. Let's go.
help you guys know how to process your securities. Okay.
Process securities. Now, remember, she already had classes on security. See, I don't know how old this video is. So let me, they say it was posted 2 months, but she probably could have been had the class. So I can't really, I can't really gauge that. But I do know is that she actually was arrested for issuing fraudulent securities. I do know that part. And I do know that around the time she was teaching the mortgage class, she got put out by the landlord from where she was renting. So I do know that.
We have given you guys the laws. We told y'all where to find them, what you're basing this off of. And so
Knowing the laws means nothing. Knowing the law, that's the bare minimum of what you need to know. That's bare minimum. You can know the laws from here to kingdom come. It don't mean shit if you don't understand their world and how to maneuver through it. That's the biggest hurdle.
So now we're going to show you how to execute. You guys have been asking for a step-by-step.
That's the number one problem right there. People just want the step-by-step. Once you have understanding, you will know how to do your own step-by-step. You see what I'm saying? Once you have understanding, the step-by-step, that's your process. You do it how you do it. I give people in my group the foundation all day, and they take the foundation and they take off and they get their results. So if you want to step by step instead of understanding, your mindset in this is already off. And this is why a lot of people always run it back to me. Oh, I got scammed. I wasn't happy. It didn't work. No, it's not that it didn't work. You didn't work.
Some people get it, some people don't, because I do understand that people learn differently. Okay, so what we're going to show you is exactly how we do it, right? If it was my security or whatever, what we do, okay? Because every step makes a difference in order for you to be able to get the proper remedy and what it is that you're looking for.
There go that remedy. Everybody's always talking about a goddamn remedy. It's just business. Stop looking at a remedy like you're trying to, like you're the perpetual victim. Like some wrong needs to be right.
Okay. If you have car contracts or etc., pour one out. Because the first thing that you have to do before you attempt to do anything is read the contract.
With Monday.com's intuitive work management platform, you have the power, not IT, not admin.
Right?
So let me just say this before we get started, because she's going to deep dive into the contract. What does it matter you understanding the contract is if your obligation is not even to the contract. See, most people that will argue, no, yes, it is. They don't have the understanding of how this shit really goes. What does it matter to fully understand the contract if the contract is not the actual debt in which you're liable on? They focus on the contract when you're not even liable to the contract after you sign it. See, that right there shifts this whole class on its head already. You're not liable to what's on the contract. But since you want to deep dive in the contract, we'll just break it down. Let's go.
Not just read the contract, but understand the contract, because it do get a little tricky in there. But if you don't read it, then how would you know? based off of me doing consultations, is ultimately why I decided to do this way, because the questions are redundant, right? They're asking, you guys are asking the same exact thing. So
you notice how it's always a class that they have because everybody just so wants it. You know what I'm saying? Like they're Bill, please hold the class. Like I don't really want to do it, but since y'all keep asking, I'll do it. Like, it's another money grab. Shut up. Just say it. It's a money grab.
So let me inform you guys. It doesn't matter if it's a car contract, if it's a cellular, a wireless contract, if it's a mortgage got a little bit more to it.
Don't even talk about mortgages, Tamika. You don't talk about mortgage contract. You are not qualified to teach a class on a mortgage contract. You done sent so many people up Shit's Creek. I'm just saying, stay with the don't talk about mortgages. That's a totally different ball game. And you have not done enough research to keep mortgages out of it.
But it's all the same. It's not about what type of contract it is. It's about the fact that it's a security. If there's an amount on there that says that something is due, that is considered a security.
Wrong. Now, if I was teaching a class, I would have pulled up exactly black and white what I just said. Because that's a big point she just tried to make. Just because that amount says it's due, it's a security. That's not true. Because it's only a security if it classifies for a financial asset as a financial asset under the accounting regulations. So, like if I pulled up my delinquent debts and sold them to a debt collection company, it's not a financial asset. It's not a security that they purchase. In that context. See, accounting, it has totally a lot of different contexts. So just because it's an obligation doesn't mean that's necessarily a security. But this is the part where she was supposed to expound on it. But of course, as you'll see, and they never do.
Okay, and they are all done the same exact way, regardless.
No, they're not.
Regardless to what it is. Okay. So the first thing that you have to do is identify the fraud and know it. Because as you guys see, some people don't have no issue. They send it, it's taken care of, and then other people are having issues.
There we go right there. These phantom victories. At that time, she was supposed to share her screen with a letter from the finance company saying you don't owe anymore, or the credit card company or whatever saying you don't owe anymore. See, it's that part right there where they just get away with all these fucking victories. Nobody sees it. Oh, some people have no issues by that. Show the people that had no issues. Show the letter from the finance company. They never produced them because they never happened.
And they don't know what to do after. They don't know how to stand on it. You're going to always need to know how to stand on what it is that you're doing. Okay. And the first thing is by.
And everybody that took this class, I guarantee you, when it came time for the next one, they've already been blocked.
Accepting your contract, understanding what the contract means, understanding what you gave away. Because if you come in to get your rights back, you can't get back what you don't know was taken, right? Because ultimately, as you guys all know, that we gave them permission with our signature to keep our securities, keep all of our insurance payments. And then we had the nerve to tell them that we were going to take them back the money that they actually owe the Treasury from them getting the discounted par rate that they got when you first signed your security over to them. Okay.
Once again, This is the part where she's supposed to pull out the IRS regulation. The money they owe the treasury for a discount. I know what she's trying to say, but she don't really know what she's saying. Where's the IRS regulation? Because we actually went over this in my Supreme Elite Team class like 2 days ago, exactly how they owe the treasury. But it's not in what she's saying, though. But once again, she's supposed to pull out the IRS regulations to match up what she's saying.
The discounted par rate that they got when you first signed your security over to them. Okay. I'm gonna pull a contract.
Yes, and you'll see this throughout the whole thing. I'm gonna let it run for a while because really, it's just it really was just no actual fully understanding and teaching. There's no switching from the accounting to the securities to the trust to the IRS law, so you can get all these different elements and create a regular picture. And then one of the things that they rarely ever do, they never start the class off with results. You notice that, right?
You're
She never
rocking
started
with
off
the
with
best.
results. So all this is just another form of speculation, theory. Try this way. Nothing she has said at this point is concrete proof, or she have showed concrete proof to back up what she's saying. It's just talk.
And we're gonna go over. So the purpose of me doing this is one, so that you can know. And two, if you got a contract, hopefully you do the same thing. Each day, we're gonna go over every step. So when we're done in 3 days, y'all gonna be ready to melt off. That's why it's called the challenge. There should be no questions. We gonna show y'all how to find a trustee, the different ways to find them easy, so that come was 3 days, Friday, come the weekend, y'all got y'all stuff signed, sealed, and ready to be delivered. Okay, so we're gonna walk y'all. This is exactly what me and Caleb do. The first thing we do is we dissect the contract. We're looking for certain terms. If you are going to claim it's securities fraud, you better be able to back that up. And I'm serious. You want to be able to back it up, okay? So give me 1 second. What is it?
That you're trying to cash in to get liquidated or exchange it for another security, that's what you put on those securities, not a car contract. It has nothing to do with art. And you send a
tools that you're gonna stand. I'm not gonna pull it up because we already told y'all. So that's 6. I'm not gonna pull it up.
Actually, it's still going on, y'all. Let me see.
The seller. You guys been with me for a minute, you already got that. I'm not gonna pull it up because we already told y'all. So that's 16 CFR 433.1. Because you gotta ask your tools that you're gonna stand on, and you definitely want to get it out of there because it tells you that only a contract is in between.
So this says for presentation to the United States Treasury for redemption or an exchange for securities of a new issue in accordance with written instructions submitted by. Do you know where she pulled that regulation from? Do you know what that deals with? You know what that deals with? That deals with the Bureau of Fiscal Service. When you send a security in, a treasury security that you're trying to cash in to get liquidated or exchange it for another security, that's what you put on those securities, not a car contract. It has nothing to do with art. And let me see. If I have time, I will pull that up. It has nothing to do with an auto contract. It has to do with actual treasury securities that you actually purchased. Told you, man. Shit too easy.
Between a seller creditor and a finance company, not the buyer. Okay. And when we get into the Trust Indenture Act with you guys, you will see why a seller creditor, which is always the dealership, and the finance company are the only two that can enter into a contract with each other. Okay. As you guys can even see here, where it says for the presentation to the United States for redemption or exchange for securities of a new issue in accordance with the written instructions submitted by. So for everybody that's asking us, it's words there, where are we supposed to put it? If you would look at 31 CFR 328.7, it tells you that the words can be covered.
If you have a 700 plus credit score, you qualify for Chase's new program where you could access up to $150,000 of capital for free at 0%.
If you notice, we do it diagonally so that we will not cover up all of the words, but we're not covering up anything that's important.
What is that a variation of? I told you, same process, different name. That ain't nothing but a variation of the acceptance for value. That's all it is. Ain't nothing but a variation of the acceptance for value. Diagonally put it across, don't cover up the name, 95-degree angle, get a ruler, get a stencil, measure it. It's all the same. You cannot put that verbiage on these things because it only applies to actual treasury securities that you purchase.
Okay, so you guys is asking how do you stamp it? That is how you're going to stamp it. Okay, but during this 3-day process, there is some additional stamps that you guys are going to have to use besides this one right here. And I will go over that when we go over the stamping up. Okay. By signing this contract, you choose to buy a vehicle.
See, what right there. See, the federal truth and lender disclosures, I want to see if she really breaks that down, what it means from an accounting standpoint, and then use the accountant to validate all this, and then use the IRS regulations to validate all this, and then use their own agreements and their filings, what they filed to validate all this, and then use the IRS tax forms to implement and line it all up based on what I want to see if she does that. I want to see if she does that.
On credits under the agreements and agree to.
I told y'all, remember when they just start reading it off, they really don't know what they're doing. They're just trying to sound like they know what they're talking about instead of just getting into the substance it really means to get into it from the accounting and trust. You know, when they start just reading off the contract, then trying to interpret it, they don't know what the fuck they're really doing. Because if she actually knew what she was doing, she would realize that what's represented here is not how it's being accounted, it's not how it's being reported, and it's not the substance. This is the form of the transaction. The IRS deals with the substance. So if she really knew what she was doing, she'll be teaching from the substance, lining all this up on the back end, what's really going on. But no, she's going to stick and try to read this and try to, oh yeah, see this, what it means, see? Y'all, it's all a scam. It's all a scam. When they start reading from the contract like that, it just only time you should be reading like a little sentence to prove what you're proving on the back end of the substance. This right here is just stalling. It's just stalling. That's all it is.
To pay the seller, right? So pay the seller. So if it says that you agreed to pay the seller, where did the bank come in at? Because if you guys notice on your contracts, you don't see the bank name anywhere when you first signed the contract, because you're not, okay? So when it tells you that you agree to pay the seller, right, which is the dealership, what did you pay them?
If you don't see the bank's name on the contract, maybe because you're not going through the bank. The fuck the bank's name to be down there for? because she doesn't understand the underlying process on how these things are packaged up and sold. What the fuck is the bank's role in this? Does she even know what the bank's role in this? If she said the bank's name's not on the contract, she's supposed to have been telling them what's the bank's role. Or better yet, she should have produced the audit and broke down what the audit means. But that would be too much like giving the people the proper understanding that they need. Nah, it's too much like right.
This note right here is what you paid them. Okay.
So she's saying that note right there is what they paid them. So they was paid with that, with the note. Okay.
Of course, it's going to say the year, to make, the model, the VIN number. This box.
Y'all see what I'm saying? Yo, they can see that. So I told you, she don't know what she talking about. She got all the people in there. She's making up as she go. Oh, you see the year? They know that. Get to it. I told you, stalling, making it up as she go, live, making it up as she go. That's what they do. Oh yeah, see the ID, yeah, 4S. And by the time she finished reading all this, 45 minutes done passed. Is it stalling?
Box right here is very important. It's on every contract. Primary use for which is purchased. Personal, family, or household.
That doesn't matter to jack shit. It don't matter. Stalling. None of that shit matters.
Unless otherwise indicated below. Well, you see, it ain't under business. It ain't under agriculture. It's NA, which means it was for primary, family, household use. Right?
Duh. What point? Okay, what are you trying to prove with that? Duh. Told you. Just stalling.
Because that's the definition of a consumer. As long as it's for personal, family, and household use, it falls up under the consumer rights and the consumer.
So I have a contract right here. Okay, so you say that. Okay, let's test that theory. Have a contract right here that's in the business name. Have a contract right here, auto contract that's in the business name. So they're not a consumer since they're a business. Got a contract right here that's in a business name. So they're not a contract, they're not a consumer. See, wasting time. If I was in the class, I'd be like, yo, can you get to it? Like it's not connecting already. It's not connecting. None of what she's saying is connected. Just stalling, just rambling on, making it seem like just stalling. Nobody, she didn't even go over what that really meant. She didn't even pull out the regulations for that. She probably said so. Why didn't she show that on the screen to break that down for a second? Because people need to understand what they're putting these verbiages on it. They need to have a clear understanding of what they're doing and why and how it ties into the outcomes they're looking for. See how she glossed over that? Talking about this is important. Nah, that right there. Break all that down right there. Notice how they just gloss over it and just say, put it on there. And yes, she got paid up front before this.
Laws under TILA and etc. Okay. Then it goes into the truth in lending disclosures. So if you notice, this box right here is dark bold print. Because
who gives a fuck about its font size? Oh my God. Yo, stalling. See, the angles on the corner, you see how they're, separated by a few centimeters, because if it was an inch, then it means that the obligation was set off. That's the astronomical way of telling you. But the boxes right here is only a few centimeters, so that is indicating that you still got to pay.
Because they're trying to say that they gave you all of your truth in lending disclosures and they gave it to you right here. Okay. The only thing that
remember I told you about the truth and lending disclosure in the Supreme Elite team the other day, y'all? Remember I told y'all how I broke that down? Remember how I broke that down, the truth and lending disclosures? Remember how I broke it down? Let's see if she breaks it down. Let's see.
she should have been paid on here is just the finance charge, because if you've been with me for a minute, you know that it is only the interest that they are supposed to receive, right? That's their payment. It's just the interest. Technically, they get the interest, and it's $26,817.44. And this contract was supposed to go to the buyer, right? Which is Caleb. This is what he should have got. They got this. Why? Because the seller creditor is a middleman. They are a broker. They broker the deal for you. So of course, every man is worth their hire. They were supposed to get paid. The only thing they were supposed to get paid was this $6,000 right here. Okay? Because all contracts can be sold to a third party.
All wrong. All wrong. All wrong. All wrong. First of all, I want to be careful with my words, man. But the finance charge, does she actually know where that stemmed from an accounting standpoint? She said they're only supposed to get this and they buyer's supposed to get that. And then they were only supposed to get this and that. Well, the problem is she doesn't understand how these transactions are conducted with the dealer, the pre-existing dealer advance agreement with these corporations. See, she doesn't understand how that's broken down. She doesn't understand the $5,000 down payment. That's part of the dealer's compensation. So why didn't she say, and she probably say it later, why didn't she say, hey, and I'm not going to tell her exactly why, because she's going to run back to a group. Why didn't she say, hey, the dealer, why didn't she say, hey, by the way, you know that the dealer, their compensation is part of that 5,000. So they was never that, they misrepresented it, saying the finance company needed the 5,000, but yo, what's up? 1 second, y'all. What's good? See if I could do it right quick. Let's see if I can do it right quick. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Let's see. I'm about to see if I can make this connection for y'all right quick. Track. So you all just kind of mainly were just the middleman to broker the deal instead of really being a lender in the traditional sense, like credit acceptors went into their own back pocket and put up the money. You kind of more broker the transaction with your credit facilities and financing capabilities and resources. Is that more of an accurate statement?
Yes.
Well, I'll be damned. I'll be damned that I understand the internal, these SEC and instead of really being go back. So let me show y'all what I'm talking about. I'm about to show y'all exactly what I'm talking about. Hold on. I'm going to cue it up for y'all. I'm going to cue the video up for y'all. Don't trip. We are here. We are in the build. I just want to show y'all something exclusively from credit acceptance. Here we go. Dan's been here the whole time. Oh. Hold on. I got to share my screen. I have a question regarding they never admitted that they said the down payment goes to credit acceptance. They forgot they was recorded at the time. Credit acceptance. All right, so here we go. So when Tamika was teaching her class, why didn't she teach to her class that the down payment was part of part of their compensation under their pre-existing agreement, although they represented to us like the finance company asked for the down payment. When the finance company has nothing to do with the down payment, they never get the down payment. Why didn't she bring that up in the class? I think a lot of people would have wanted to hear about that.
In the beginning, then when I called them back, they never admitted that they said the down payment goes to credit acceptance. They forgot they was recorded at the time. And second, that credit acceptance in their own words, in their own filings with the SEC, it says that the dealership receives the down payment as part of payment for the vehicle. So if I needed to pay $2,700 to amortize the contract, to, finalize the deal, and it was disclosed to me, and I have a recording of it, that the money's going directly to credit acceptance. But then come to find out, credit acceptance never got that $2,700. The money also went to the dealership as part of the payment for the vehicle. So my question with credit acceptance is, how does that $2,700 end back up with the dealership when it was presented to me that the $2,700 was going to you all to cover the deal?
I already know the answer to the question I'm asking. I already did the research. Everything that part of this 30-minute phone call, I know everything. I know the answer. I just want to see what she's going to say. I already know the answer to the question because part of litigation, which translates over into my documents with them, you never ask a question or never ask for documents that you don't already have, don't already seen it, or they can't produce it. You never ask, it's like a lawyer. You never ask a question that you don't already know the answer to. Or just like in the OJ case, you never have him try on the gloves unless you know he's going to be able to fit it. This is a tactic that every good trial lawyer uses. They ask questions that they already know the answer to, and the person that's being cross-examined or on the stand, they know the answer as well. And you ask the question, which you already gave the answer. We already gave the answer to the question, because that's what I did. I already gave her the answer to the question. So we asked them just to see if they're going to be honest. And when you put them in a situation like this, they have no choice but to tell the truth. All these people fighting back and forth on TikTok on the phone with these people. I call these people, I get everything I want. I get every answer to I want, even for the mortgage, how it's sold, how they sell it. I get it right. It's on my channel. It's on my channel. Go through my videos. Navy Federal Credit Acceptance. I get all the, and I don't even have to fight. I just let them talk. And as you will see, or hear rather, that she has no choice but to tell the truth. Shall we proceed?
So what you said it is correct.
Y'all hear that? You hear that? So what you said is correct, because I already know the answer to it. She knows I know.
But to tell the truth.
Watch it.
Shall we proceed?
So what you said it is correct. So the down payment actually goes to the dealership to help qualify you to get the loan. We don't collect it, the dealership does, but it is a part of your loan. So we don't get the down payment.
You hear that? So what you said is correct, because I already know the answer to it. She knows I know.
But to tell the truth.
Watch it.
Shall we proceed?
So what you said it is correct. So the down payment actually goes to the dealership to help qualify you to get the loan. We don't collect it, the dealership does, but it is a part of your loan. So we don't get the down payment.
Say no more.
You're rocking with the best.
I heard that. You don't get the down payment. It's part of the loan. See, it's part of the loan. So you're going to end up paying that back as well. It's part of your loan. It's part of the loan. We don't get it. The dealership gets it. And she goes into a tangent like, yeah, we never get it. They always get it. So, Tamika, why didn't you bring that up?
Caleb, this is what he should have got. They got this. Why? Because the seller creditor is a middleman. They are a broker. They broker the deal for you. So, of course, every man is worth their hire. They were supposed.
But you notice how she's saying that they brokered the deal for Subaru, and notice how I was talking about the finance company brokered the deal for them. See, I was talking to credit accepted finance company, and I said they brokered the deal, not the dealership, because the dealership don't broker no deals; they just sell it. The fuck keep calling me? They don't keep trying to call me. They'll never broker the deal. The dealership never brokers the deal. See, she's thinking, look, she just said it. They brokered the deal. That's the problem. She doesn't understand. She don't even understand the contract she's trying to teach because she's already wrong. See, once you look at it from a standpoint that the dealership is not brokering the deal and the finance company's brokering the deal, now she got to understand who they're breaking the deal with. See, now she got to know behind the scenes now. See, now she got to know what goes on after you close. And she don't study. She ain't study that far. That's why she has to say the dealership brokered the deal when the dealership ain't broker no deal. Notice in that video you just heard, the first one, when I was like, nah, that's not the one. Notice I say, y'all brokered the deal, the finance company. See, she can't explain it from the standpoint where the finance company, and you know I'm correct because the lady that works for the finance company said that is correct. We do broker the deal. So if finance company is brokering the deal, that opens up a whole different understanding that you need to know. And it's not the dealership that's brokering the deal. I found already 5 errors. Let's keep going though.
Supposed to get paid. The only thing they were supposed to get paid was this $6,000 right here.
No, the $5,000 too. That's part of their compensation. See, if you understand the programs in which people buy vehicles, it's 2 programs. So you're supposed to be able to break down each program and tell the difference, differentiate the interest rates on each program. So this car was purchased under a program. Is she going to bring up the program which that car was purchased under? Because the seller, creditor, the dealership, the broker, that's not true. It's not even accounted for like that. They only have legal title to the vehicle only for a moment. So they're not brokering nothing. See, you may think they're broken it, but they're not. See, that's where the understanding comes in at.
Okay. Because all contracts can be sold to a third party, which means they're going to make money off of this contract. So the only thing they're supposed to get from him would be the interest within itself.
What about the 5,000? What about the 5,000? She ain't say nothing about that down payment because she didn't know. And that's big. That's big no going in. When the dealership, they need 5,000. Oh, they don't need 5,000 because here's why. I already pulled it up. Look, here's why. They don't need 5,000. Nope. You about to tell me the finance company needs 5,000? No, they don't. See, the way I teach, you can go and apply it in the real world, in your real lives. Not this crap.
Okay.
And stop saying, okay, because you ain't making sense. Stop saying, okay.
And of course, it goes down to your payments and etc. because they have to give you the truth and lending.
No, don't get down to the payments now. Break down what that means. Break down what the payments mean. How can you break down this annual percentage rate, which brought this up to the 6,186, and divide that? And how did they come up with that calculation? What's the original issue discount in this right here? What's the OID for this right here? And what's the yearly OID for this one? What's the calculations for? I did that live in my OID class with the finance charge. I broke it down right on the calculator. or with the yearly, with the monthly OID, how they figured the interest? Is she going to break it down like that?
Disclosures. So they put that amount on there. That's what that's for. But let's go down.
You see, just glosses over it. There's no connection being made. Where's the connection at? Oh, they did that. They got to do this, do the Truth in Lending. No. What about the other Truth in Lending Act? What Truth in Lending Act they have to disclose? Oh, you talking about just this? There's more that has to be disclosed. Why don't you go over that? Why aren't you letting them know that if they're using a third-party creditor, they got to list the creditor's name? That's big to understand for the con. You see how she just glossed? You see, this is all accounting. Tamika doesn't know accounting. That's why she's glossing over it. If I was teaching that class, this segment right here, the truth and federal truth and lending disclosures, this, I would have broke it down to the penny why they owe, who's getting their money when you make your payment, who's actually getting it, who's getting the down payment, and the calculations, how they come up for it. And it'll told over to our OIDs when we do our yearly OIDs for the calculation on it. Let's see. Well, you already know she ain't doing it because she's scrolling down. Told you. And any holder of this consumer credit contract, I guarantee you, she's about to misinterpret that and misrepresent it. I already know that's about to come. So let's get to these goals. Get to these goals. Get to these goals.
About late charges. Now, if you actually pulled up 16 CFR 433.3, you are going to find this exact verbiage that's in bold.
Oh, she don't know what the connection is. Oh, she's talking about that verbiage on 16 CFR. She don't know what the connection is to your claim. Oh, she ain't say it. Oh, she don't know what the real connection is. Oh my God. She don't know what the real connection is. Oh God.
The holder of this consumer credit contract is subject to all claims and defenses which the debtor could assert against the seller of goods or services. It is telling you that you as the consumer has the right to bring a claim against anybody that's holding this contract, not just the finance company.
You know what that is? Is when you're reading it and you really don't understand what you're reading, so you're just going to pick apart what it, all she's doing is just repeating what she read to them. They can read that themselves. Break it down, get into the meat and potatoes of what it really means, and then bring up other statutes that makes the connection that ties into your claim. Because obviously it's only the amounts that you actually paid. So you're supposed to be breaking down, why is it only limited to the amount that is actually paid, that you actually paid out of pocket? Once you break it down as to why it's limited to that, and then you're supposed to give them the answer as to why it's limited to that, because now you're supposed to jump into the accounting. And when you break the connection from that to that, it's going to tie in back to your overall set off. See, her set off class of this, it's right in here. She has a good opportunity to break it down why you're legally entitled to a set off, because this verbiage actually confirms some things. But let's see if she makes the connection from an accounting standpoint.
You have the dealership, because they're technically the broker.
Stuttering, don't even know. Now she about to go back to the dealership. Technically they're the broker. That's been debunked. Y'all just heard the call. The finance company is the broker. See, she don't even know what she can't even break it down. She can't even break it down. She can't. Because technically, the dealer's the broker. No, break it down what that means. That notice part. Break it all the way down so they can have to make the connection. Break it down. Why? What it means. Why it says that. Tie the accounting into it, because that's going to make your overall point. Give them something they can get inspired by. Nobody's inspired by this. All you're doing is just rereading the contract back to them.
It is telling you that you as the consumer has the right to bring a claim against anybody that's holding this contract. Now
they know that. They can read that. Keep going. Explain it.
Not just the finance company. You have the dealership, because they're technically the broker. So if you're doing an arbitration claim and you're doing it up under FINRA, it's for brokers. You have.
They want you to go arbitration. Why would you step into an arena where they want you to go? You're supposed to backdoor them in the civil court because your claim is not on the contract. That's not where your claim lies, because you're not obligated under that contract anymore. You're obligated on something else. So why are you still trying to make a claim to the contract? See, that's the difference between a professional like teaching setting and amateurs. This is amateur hour.
To make sure that the dealership is added to that claim, because FINRA is for brokers. The broker was the dealership. Okay, you got private brokers, and then you have the public brokers, which are the ones that's at the dealership. Okay. You also see where it says that this notice that you can bring any claims and defenses is only applies to goods or services obtained primarily for personal, family, and household use. We've already discussed that per their contract, that is for personal, family, or household use. Okay, because these are all defenses that you will put into your claim when you're going after them. You use their contract against them. Okay. Now, in any other cases, buyer will not assert against any subsequent holder or assignee of the contract. Any claims or defenses the buyer, which it says the debtor, may have against the seller.
Y'all, what is she saying? Y'all, please tell me in the chat, what is she saying? She's not saying nothing. She's not saying anything that they would conclude their own selves by reading. She's not breaking it down from an accounting standpoint. She's not explaining, no, you don't go in arbitration because your claim is no longer on the contract anymore. You don't owe under the contract anymore after you sign. Because you have to understand accounting, advanced accounting, not because I'm saying it advanced to my own horn. A college professor looked over my documents and said it. Yeah, this is highly advanced accounting. That's not what I'm telling you, people. Y'all know who's in the class. I heard it. Y'all seen it. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard the phone call. I had a student that goes to the University of Florida and gave one of my right to set off documents relating to the auto contract and let the professor read it. He said, yeah, this is
you're rocking with the best.
So I'm not even expecting her to know this. But it's sad because people paid for this and they're not getting their money's worth. They're leaving in no way understanding. Thinking you could just put the verbiage on and send it off and get it set off in 3 days. This 3-day challenge. This is the part what I keep saying. I'm trying to tell you, a lot of these gurus that are out here teaching, they're not qualified. They don't consult with professionals. I consult with professionals. People have been doing this shit for 27 years, 20 years. This is sad.
If you notice right here, it's a subsequent holder or assignee of this contract. We know that they sell the contract. So if they sold it to 250 companies, you can technically go after all 250 companies.
Who is, yeah, oh my God. That's not even how it works. Supreme Elite team, you said if they sold it to 250, she really thinks they're just selling the contract and getting paid and selling. She has no clue what's really going on. She has no clue. That's not how it works. All these contracts are pursuant to a pre-existing agreement. It's going to one entity. Oh my God. She is leading these. Oh my gosh. When will people learn?
Not just the finance company. Go after everybody that has traded your contract because it was ran up under.
That's that old sovereign citizen stuff that your contract's being traded on. Here, you get it here. You get it here. That's that old sovereign citizen Reddit.
Consumer credit. It was for your primary goods for personal, family, or household use. Okay. And it tells you here that it can go after assignee. I've had people try to pull the dealership or other entities, the finance company, the trustee, the indentured trustee, and the dealership into arbitration, and the dealership can say, we don't have nothing to do with that, but they do, because they're assignee of this contract.
No, it's not. No, you just gave them wrong instructions. Their whole approach was wrong from the beginning. They was going down, they was doing it the wrong way from the beginning. Don't try to make it seem like it was your fault. That's why nobody won with that arbitration shit. That your whole approach was wrong. You taught them wrong. You've been teaching them wrong for years.
And they're still getting paid off of it. And because contracts can be sold to a third party, they're also constantly selling it that way as well. Okay.
Y'all hear this garbage? Supreme Elite team, y'all know how we know how it goes, how it's transferred, how it's converted. Do you really think that's how it goes? The IRS regulations don't even have nothing to fit what she's saying for the federal income tax implications on these transactions, these taxable transfers. It doesn't even go like that by law. What she's saying is purely made up on how she believes it go. There is nothing in law that will. This is why she won't show anything in law, because there's nothing in law that will actually confirm what she's saying. Why is it every time I teach, I could just show you black and white? Tamika, show some black and white now, because what you saying ain't making no sense.
And that's the same if they do if you have any particular protections or things like that, they are also considered a holder or assignee there as well. Okay.
This girl done gone.
If you notice on the contract here, they're saying that you agreed to arbitrate, which is on page 6. You may or we may elect to resolve dispute by neutral binding arbitration and not by court action, which means if they have repoed you, it's illegal because there's an arbitration clause. Arbitration works in both ways for you and them. Anything that they want to do to assert their claims against you, it also has to be done via arbitration.
You see what I'm saying, y'all? She said arbitration. By her keep bringing up arbitration lets me know she has no clue on how the game goes. She has no clue. It has nothing to do with the why do you think they want you to argue arbitration on the contract in which it's not like you're not even obligated to the contract anymore? Want to know why they want you to argue arbitration on the contract? Want to know why? Because they're still going to lock you in on the receivable side. That's it. They lock you in on the receivable side. You really can't say nothing. You say you'll pay, but you're not paying. Your obligation is not to the contract. So why would you go into arbitration? They want you to keep it on the contract. But after this transaction closed, you're obligated to something else. So this allows you to bypass the contract because it's all going to be tied into what you're obligated on.
You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best.
See, by her saying that, she has no clue what I know she don't know the game. She don't know the game. She don't know the game. She keep talking arbitration. That's the trick. They want you to go arbitration. They want you to talk about the contract. They know you're not obligated on the contract anymore. You obligated somewhere else. This is why they're selling the receivable. See, she don't even understand receivables, how they really work, how they move to this financial world in the secondary markets. She don't understand how it works. She will not bring up the security side from a high-end standpoint in which they're really dealing in, and the accounting from a high end, because that's the only way you're going to accomplish this. It's the only way. This is elementary shit she talking.
Okay? They cannot take you to court, not unless you agree for them to take you to court. Okay?
See, what contradicts what she's saying is, because if you default, they have the right to repossess outside of arbitration. So they don't need arbitration to repossess, because you're still arguing on the contract. You're still arguing on the debt from the contract. See, this is why the Supreme Elite Team group is so more advanced than all these other groups out here teaching, because we're actually speaking from what they actually do.
You're rocking with the best.
They're teaching on speculations and shit that's been passed down to them from other gurus. She was a student before. I'm teaching from arbitration. So they don't need arbitration to repossess, because you're still arguing on the contract. You're still arguing on the debt from the contract. See, this is why the Supreme Elite Team group is so more advanced than all these other groups out here teaching, because we're actually speaking from what they actually do. I'm teaching from the horse's mouth. They're teaching on speculations and shit that's been passed down to them from other gurus. She was a student before. She started just like everybody else, being a student. She get the info, steal the info, and then go sell the same shit that she was once a student of, without fully understanding and not knowing that people teaching her was scamming her. It's one big cycle.
Okay, so that works both ways. So then it talks about all the itemized amounts that's financed. They only put that on there because of TILA, but it cannot be itemized. So that's something else that you can use as a defense when you're going after these people.
But how can you explain it? How? You just said, oh, they can't be this or something. How? How? She don't even know what this means at the bottom. She don't know what none of this means. Explain how. Explain how. How? Break it down. You just, yeah, no, they can't do that. All right, you can use that. How?
Okay. Then you look at the insurance. They say you may buy the physical insurance of the contract for anyone you choose who is acceptable to you, to us, which is them. Okay. Then they have credit life, credit disability. Do you guys know what credit life and credit disability is? It's on every contract. Anybody know what it is? Most of you guys, when you do these contracts, you do not select that. But whether you select it or not, the dealership and the finance company has credit life on you. They also have credit disability on you. So what that means is when you pass away, and it could be 50 years after this contract was written, the reason why they have you put an ad in the newspaper, you know, they make you do the public notice in the newspaper when someone passed away. That is their proof legally to be able to collect on the insurance for the credit life. So now they've gotten paid again. When you're in the process of rescinding your security interest, make sure you put that you are rescinding them, the dealership, the finance company, from being the beneficiary of your credit life. That should go to your people, not to them. But you don't know that you signed it away to them. Okay. So when you guys are doing your letters, which during this 3-day process, we will show you and provide you with a reference. I don't want to call it a template. I'm gonna call it a reference sheet. So when you guys are creating your paperwork, you know to add that in there as well. So that way they're not getting paid if something happens, even when it comes to disability, because most people don't know that if you become disabled, you can get discharged from that as well, because you became disabled.
You see what I'm saying? Look at all that dumb bullshit. All that's bullshit.
And they already got the insurance for it. Okay. All right, let's go. So these are the little fees that they're charging. We all know about that. So let's go down and see. Oh, well, let me highlight it.
Look, she's doing this on purpose. She's using the whole fucking class to break this shit down. None of this shit means nothing. None of this shit means nothing. And no, Sean, the investors don't fund it, bro. I'm sorry. Yo, we literally read this shit from their own mouths. We know how it's being funded. The investors are not funding it. They're just investing in the receivables. They're not actually funding it. The borrower's funding it. Trust me, I can show you black and white Get in the group and I'll show you black and white. Then the investor, they are only investing. Trust me. The issuer of the security is the one who is funding the loan, bro. Trust me. IRS regulate. We just went over it 3 days ago in class. IRS regulations too. If you got a better source than the IRS regulations, their own agreements, what they're saying out their own mouths, and mainly what the IRS says what's happening, then please let me know and I'll shut up and say I'm wrong. But I go by what the IRS deems what it is. So if the IRS is saying that, then that's what it is, because that's how it's going to be viewed.
To get remedy is very wise if you remove their security interest first.
How can you see? That's what I'm talking about. You're trying to remove a security interest when you should be setting off your their security interest with your security interest. You have a security interest as well. See, she doesn't know that side of it. She's just trying to remove the security. This is that debtor, borrower, consumer mindset like teaching. Remedy, get this removed. No, they got a security interest. You got a security interest. But she'll never talk about that part because she don't know.
Because they've been known even doing arbitration.
And anybody that wants to doubt, you can ask the Supreme Elite team, the members in the group. I literally went over black and white, how you get your refund, where you get your refund, how you're entitled. Black and white IRS is saying how you're entitled to a refund, not me just saying it. Black and white regulations. But it's under chapters that majority of the people would never even think applies to them.
Arbitration during court, they will try to get slick and they will try to repo you. But you have the right to remove that. The same way that they had to ask you for it, you can remove it.
Which small business owner, let your bill pay work for your business. Pay your business bills with your credit card.
Is why we have to start reading, and not only reading, but understanding. Because when it says that you give us the ability to claim benefits under this contract, and when it says that this contract may include charges for optional insurance, you see that we agreed to it.
I wouldn't give a damn if you agree to them chopping your hand off. It still doesn't take away the fact that your status as a creditor on the other side, and they have to report the liability to you. Who gives a fuck all that shit you gave to them? You get it all back as a creditor on the back end anyway. You see what I'm saying? See? It's just that simple. It's not simple, but it's simple if you've been doing this shit for years and got over 10,000 hours of research in. See, they're looking at it all from the wrong angle. What they're talking, it doesn't even hit on the main factors that the finance company would not want you to hit on. It's not going to hit. They're going to be relieved if you try to do all this because they know that, okay, you're not really going to where our risks are being exposed at. See, I approach it from the same areas that which they deem is a risk exposure. Think about it. On the Supreme Elite team, our claims are the same things that they deem as a risk exposure. Like, yo, we need to be aware of this. This could backfire on us. Well, that backfire is our claims.
We said that they can do everything that they're doing, which is why you will not have, or you'll have a better chance of success when you do things properly and you remove the security interest. When you remove what gave them the ability to collect from you in the first place, then they have to start paying you what they owe.
Period. Okay. Let's go down. Well, this was it, wasn't it? Then it talks about, if you guys notice, they're going to put a state law in there saying that the state law do not provide for a cooling off period or cancellation period of the sale after you sign a contract. If you notice, under your UCCs for your state, because every state has one, is where they're getting this statement from. But always remember, federal trumps state. Okay. Federal Trump state.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. The 10th Amendment, separation, no, not necessarily. Depends on the situation. That's not just all cases. The feds just don't come in and state business in all cases. It's not necessarily true.
And of course, it says customer copy. So let's get into arbitration. Now they're telling you
I'm going to skip by because all she's going to really do is just read the arbitration. She spent the whole class reading that contract and ain't say a goddamn thing. And I knew she was going to do this because she doesn't have the depth to go into other things, pull up her screens, talk about this apply this back to the contract. Her only thing is the contract. She has no clue that once that borrower signs that contract, they are no longer obligated under that contract. See, them no longer being obligated under that contract kills her whole class. Because now she would have to know what they're really obligated on and then attach their claim to that. That's the only way you win, is through that door. This door, you don't win. But the people that took this class are going to find out, and this looks like an older class because her and Caleb have fallen out since then. And I've noticed that it's coming back to me now. A lot of people that took this class came back very disappointed because none of this shit she's talking about works. Now I understand where this class stemmed from. It was the auto arbitration class. I remember they was talking about it. And core people came back from this class, and she the ones I know totally disappointed. All of them said none of that shit worked she was talking about. So this is kind of an older class. It came back to me now. I just heard Caleb's voice. I'm like, oh shit, this was the class they was talking about. And she still posted it on YouTube, got 50,000 views, and only thing she cares about is monetizing. She don't give a shit what information she put out as long as it makes money. And she has a hell of a following, so people are still going to click on it. People are still going to take actions, and then they're going to end up blocked, and then they're going to come back to people like me talking about save me, and then I'm going to say, no, go back to her first. And if she doesn't help you, then I'll help you. But 10,000 a clip. Yeah.
You're rocking with
that come from her and looking, oh, help me, 10,000. Because guess what? That's the only reason I'm gonna be like, all right. And I throw 10,000 out there hoping you say no.
One, you're dealing with equity and law, not statute, because there is a difference. So if you just by chance,
you see what I'm saying? All this right here is not saying nothing. She's just wasting time. She's just wasting time. None of this means.
Are you looking to start your own business? Well, look no further than busy.com. Right now, we'll complete your LLC.
None of that.
Am I right, Caleb?
None of that shit means nothing what she's saying. Caleb don't know what the fuck he talking about either. None of this shit. Like they would have hated if I was in that class. Because I'm like, yo, there's nothing that you told me that I could use. You just said, throw this sign on there, broke down, said something about this, and just reread the contract back to us and called it a class. But people are so invested and so desperate to get their vehicle back that was repossessed, are so desperate and coming from a state of victimhood, like they did something to me. And even their approach of going to get their vehicle back is still going to be wrong. It's going to lead to nothing. Now they're going to be more frustrated. See, the problem with them is they should be focused on recoupment, not trying to, like everything she said in this video, nobody is going to win off it.
Sure do. That's how I found the trustee.
Because
I can find the trustee in 2 minutes just looking on the SEC website. You send something to the trustee, you're never going to get a response. Want to know why? Because they didn't even read deep into their 400-page agreements. See, they'll talk about the 8K and 10K filings, but they'll never ever read them in entirety. Those are 300, 400-page long. I've read them. I've read a few of them, page by page. And if they was to actually read them, they would have never offered that as a service of drafting stuff to the indentured trustee because the indentured trustee is under no obligation to release anybody from their contract. Their sole loyalty remains with the certificate and note holder. Release anybody from. See, they'll talk about the 8K and 10K filings, but they'll never ever read them in entirety. Those are 300, 400 page long. I've read them. I've read a few of them, page by page. And if they was to actually read them, they would have never offered that as a service of drafting stuff to the indentured trustee because the indentured trustee is under no obligation to release anybody from their contract. Their sole loyalty remains with the certificate and note holders. That's it. So she would have really known what she was talking about. She would have known that you could send a fucking whatever to the indentured trustee. They was never going to respond because they're under no duty or obligation to respond. They never do respond. They never will respond. Per their own mouths.
They literally give it to you at the bottom of the paper, right? They give it to you at the bottom of the paper.
She did not go over any regulation. She didn't pull up no screen. She didn't pull up anything. She didn't pull up anything that's going to make the connection. She stayed right there on the contract because she doesn't know anything else. But the trained eye, Tamika, with a person who understands what's going on, and when they watch Tamika's videos, she's only exposing her ignorance even more every time she has a class. Like she literally is exposing her inadequacies in this stuff. She is in no position to be teaching. She is in no position to be teaching at all. That's why it's all a money grab for her.
Who the trustee is? Who the bank?
Yeah, because the finance was not who the bank was that they assigned it to. They did it. They made it so easy. Like if your finance company is separate from the bank is their own trustee. So don't get that confused.
He's wrong again. That's what I'm saying. Caleb, they don't know the game. They're wrong. They're wrong. They're wrong. They're wrong. That's not how it goes. That's not how it goes. I done read this shit black. That's not how it goes. They're just making shit up. It's not how it goes.
And we're going to switch up. And we're going to switch up the way you guys are sending your contracts in. Because they are giving you guys issues when you say to put it in your Treasury Direct account.
Oh, no. They are giving you issues when you say put in your Treasury. No, because it never worked like that from the beginning, Tamika. Stop trying to make it seem like they're just trying to prevent you from your remedy. You told them wrong shit. And I told people, you putting what in the Treasury Direct account? You asking for trouble. And it end up happening. Now you want to switch up saying, oh, they're giving you issues. No, you told them wrong from the beginning because that was that sovereign citizen shit you was pumping to them. It never worked from the beginning. Talking about giving you issues. It never worked. Let's try to butter it up now. You ain't know what the fuck you was talking about. You were just reselling shit that you got. You don't know what the fuck you talking about. Any real teacher would have never told them to try to put a contract in the Treasury Direct account. You really think there's a Treasury Direct account established for you just because you got a Social Security and a birth certificate? You really think that's true? Treasury Direct accounts has to be self-funded, either through payroll checks or you actually purchasing them from your own account. See, the reason why a lot of people don't like that, because anything that cause the use of money, see, they do processes so they don't have to use their money, but they don't really have no clear understanding of where the funds are going to come from to pay for the goods and services they want. See, they think they can tender worthless instruments, use a secret, non-existent treasury account, or funnel or leverage or convert contracts into assets with a Treasury Direct account solely just by sending it in and saying,
credit my Treasury Direct account, thinking that a Treasury Direct account is established for everyone for the sole purpose of them having a social security card and birth certificate. And then the solvers like to throw in this minor account, major account, hook the minor to the major. Okay. How's that worked out for the past 15 years? Because everyone I challenged that argued me down, saying theirs is about to go through, I said, come back when it goes through. And they said they'll be back because they wouldn't have loved it more to just rub it in my face that I was wrong. They ain't been back in 3 years. They ain't been back yet. And I predicted, and I told them this what they're going to do. I said, you're going to leave. You're going to find out and get a rejection letter, and then you're not going to come back. And everyone, I could count like dozens who said I was wrong, that the Treasury Direct account was real. None of them has ever came back. Because I know human psychology and human nature. If I was really wrong and that shit worked, they'd have loved more to pop up on my live and tell me I was wrong.
This, that, and the third, right? So what you'll do with your very first contract, of course, you will put your stamp here.
But the question remains, break it down. Show the authority for they're allowed to put that stamp on your auto contract. Where? Because at this stage, and I'm where? Break it down more. Why are you just telling people put a stamp? They don't even understand what that verbiage. They don't know what that shit means. Break it down, what it really means. Because she can't. Nor does she care.
To change for securities of new issue. Or as an additional stamp, which I'll show you guys when we get to that part as well. It still came out of 328.6, but it's taking them longer to exchange it.
1 second, y'all. This is another thing where these old sovereign citizens, that's what I'm saying. She talking about this. This has nothing to do with our shit. It has to do with U.S. bearer securities that's been issued by the Bureau of Fiscal Service. The endorsement must be printed left-hand portion of each. You know what? Let's see if we can get to the definitions. Because these people are crazy. Can I get to the definitions? Look, well, regulated, govern 5% Treasury certificates of indebtedness. Regulations govern United States individual retirement bonds, United Retirement Savings Bonds, depository compensation securities, United States Savings Bonds, Series EE, United States Savers Bonds, HH, United States Savers Bonds, Series EE and HH. They're only talking about the securities that are actually issued by the Bureau of Fiscal Service, not your contract. So you can't even put that verbiage on there. They act like I don't research. No. I told you, this has nothing to do with the shit they talking about. She don't know. She just got that fucking verbiage. That's another variation of the sovereign citizen movement that's been floating around. That's all it is. What she say? That's all it is. None of this has anything. 320. None of this has anything to do with what she's talking about. Look, definitions.
No, securities that are payable on their face to bear. The ownership of which is not recorded. They include treasury bonds, treasury notes, treasury certificates of indebtedness, and treasury bills. That's it. And they're talking about the banks because you can buy treasury securities from the banks. That's what they're talking about. They only talk about the securities that are issued directly by the Bureau of Fiscal Service or the Federal Reserve banks. That particular bank that issues treasury securities, not your fucking auto contract. That's why none of that shit worked. That's why this is an old class anyway. None of that shit worked. This is what she's talking about. Words United States Treasury should be used in lieu of Federal Reserve Bank fiscal agent United States. This is what she's talking about. Unmatured coupons. Look, unmatured coupons attached to restrictively endorsed securities should be canceled by printing the prescribed endorsement. So it's the coupons that come with the securities, and sometimes they'll get the securities, the banks strip the securities and sell the coupons as strips, U.S. Treasury strips. They're only talking about the securities issued by the federal government, not your auto contract. Look, this the regulate. This is why she ain't bring it up. This is why she ain't bring it up. Look, because they ain't talking about the contract. Look, she thinks a bearer security. Oh, it's a security because it's an obligation. So it's a security. They was never talking about that. They wasn't talking about what you think a security is. This is Bureau of the Fiscal Service. They only deal with the treasury securities that's issued by the government bonds, savings bonds, treasury. That's what this is governed under this regulation. See how they try to throw their interpretation on it? See, this is why she ain't pull it up. If she would have read this shit, she'd have realized, hold on, this shit don't, hold on, I'm gonna be looking crazy. Coupons, the securities attached to the coupon. Now, let me ask you a question. Does this look like a security with a coupon attached to it? That's what I'm saying. That's why she didn't actually pull up the regulation. Come on, man.
For securities of a new issue, because they're doing everything with paper, right? We have went over the Electronic Funds Transfer Act several times. So if you read 328.5, there's another part in there that says to transfer this over to electronic securities. That's what you want, okay? But on the back of this contract, which we know the back is blank, that's why they
get to these goals, They
give you page by page, right? On the back of this contract, or even at the bottom, up in this area, you're gonna get a stamp that says without recourse, pay to the order. You're gonna
yeah, go ahead. Good luck with that. They tried that shit 15 years ago. Good luck with that. Ron T, I didn't tell the class secrets. Bro, do you know how deep layered this shit is? You know how deep layered this shit is? Bro, the average person, this shit will be flying over top of their head. I can spill the class secrets. I can spill the class secrets just by saying all the legal terms they use. Most people still wouldn't understand what the fuck I'm talking about. I could be having a conversation that applies to them every day. They would have no clue what I'm talking about. All I gotta do is use their words.
all right. There you go. JP Morgan name right there. Okay. Which I'll show y'all an example of that.
She said, put JP Morgan name. Oh, they just making shit up. Yo, she is making it up.
We get to the stamp part. How you're going to stamp it and you're going.
Would that, they're not the trustee. Would that.
Hold on. This shit
crazy. Hey.
Hello, darling.
Thank you for doing this. This is such a blessing and blessing to you.
They always say it's a blessing. They always say it's a blessing. See, they think JP Morgan, it stops with JP Morgan. So they that just because JP Morgan was signed a bank, see, they still think JP Morgan, they don't even understand. But Ron T, I ain't gonna even say leave it right there. JP Morgan is about this big in the transaction because they don't really understand what's going on. Come on, man. We do this shit every day in class.
And Caleb. So I did have a question. So like mine at the bottom, I thought I got it from Mercedes-Benz because it was Mercedes. I thought I was buying it, but after I'm reading the contract as we're going through this, so mine says Mercedes-Benz Financial.
Uh-oh. Let's see if you could break that down. Let's see if she's about to just lie or really know what she's talking about. Because I know what this lady's talking about. I read all up on Mercedes-Benz. I have a Mercedes-Benz. I read up on, I already know how that whole process goes with Mercedes-Benz. I want to see if she knows. I know the process from A to Z, from the time you sign the contract to the time you close to what happens after you close. It don't matter if it's a mortgage, auto, credit card. I can point it down from the A to Z.
You're rocking with the best.
So this is what happened. This is what's going on. Look, read it. Okay, right? Okay, then they're doing this. Hold on. By the way, read it. Because I tell you what they're doing, and then I let you read it from the horse's mouth next. Let's see if she does it.
Would that, they're not the trustee bank though, right? Because I found the trustee bank. So would I be sending it to the trustee still for Mercedes-Benz Financial? I guess I'm this is my first class, but I'm a little lost. Because I already
told you they're always lost. They're always lost. Tamika don't know the answer. Tamika don't know. Actually, Tamika's actually mad. If you know Tamika, she's actually mad right now. She don't like questions.
I started the process, so
okay.
I did start the process. So I sent my registered mail and all that to the trustee that I found, which was U.S. Bank National Trust, and they never responded. But now I'm doing CFP.
You're rocking with the best.
What did I say earlier? What did I say earlier? What did I say earlier? What did I just say? What did I just say? What did I just say?
You're rocking with the best.
What did I just say? What did I just say? You can send it to the Kingdom Come. They're never going to respond, because if they would have read those 450 pages, 300 pages, 290 pages, it'll tell you they ain't never going to respond. Watch. What did I just say?
Would that, they're not the trustee bank though, right? Because I found the trustee bank. So would I be sending it to the trustee still for Mercedes-Benz Financial?
Let me give y'all a hint. Once it gets past this, you only got two plays. Taking the court or the IRS. That's it. Tamika don't know the IRS. She done got so many people frivolous filings. She don't know IRS. She don't know courtroom procedure. Because when you take them to court, there's a whole different set of procedures that you need to know about courtroom procedure. And you probably get about, your claim got to be this big. So how can you take all that information and compartmentalize it this big? You can't use no legal interpretations, no case law. You got to state your claim of action, what gives them rise to meets their standards. You only get about this much leeway. So how can they sum all this down into a few paragraphs? Can't. Remember, I fought the government for 5 years, followed my own motions. My appeal was in abeyance for 5 years based on my own motions. I know courtroom procedures. I know courtroom procedures. I know federal courtroom procedures like the back of my hand. I know what needs to go on it, what needs to be there, how it's supposed to be said, how it's supposed to be worded, where to go, when not to say, what not to say, what to say, what to say, what to go over here, what to put over here, what to put over here, how to put it there, how you serve it, what do you do? All of it. Been there, done that. Let's see if Tamika really knows what she knows, because I know the question she's asking, and I know the answer to her question. Oh, I can give her an answer that clean her whole mess up. I already know what she needs to do from A to Z.
Don't miss out on this opportunity to litigate like a seasoned professional. Join the Supreme Elite Team University.
Thomas in the lobby. Folded thicker than a skyline. Credit acceptance on a resume with stories in the fine lines.
Don't miss out on this opportunity to litigate like a seasoned professional. Join the
this is my first class, but I'm a little lost. Cause I already
heard what she said. I'm a little lost because none of what Tamika said made sense. See, what she don't realize is this lady already tried some similar shit with Tamika talk about, and the shit ain't work. That's basically what she's saying. That's why she says she's lost. See, the problem, this is how you know you're not an effective teacher, because nobody's supposed to be lost when you're teaching. Nobody is lost when I'm teaching. Even if you don't understand what the fuck I'm talking about, I'm still gonna break it down where you be like, oh, okay, I get it. I see what you're saying. At the bare minimum, she's lost. Tamika was ineffective. And if she's lost, I'm gonna jump out there and say a lot of other people are lost as well.
I started the process, so
okay.
I did.
Hold on. She started the process. Let's hear it.
Start the process. So I sent my.
Look, notice how she took off the screen. See how she took off the screen? See how Tamika took off the screen? Huh? Why you take off the screen, Tamika? Huh? She took off the screen. Tamika don't like the question she asking right now. Because Tamika felt so much guilt and so much, she got so much of a paranoid spirit. She think that every question, somebody's going to call her out on her bullshit because she know what she doing. You see what I'm saying? Tamika can't stand questions. She don't want you to ask no questions. All she wants you to do is sit back and be like, yeah, okay, pay your money and get the fuck out of her face. If the shit don't work out, she gonna read her. All she want to do is get through this fucking class so she can get her money and go do what she want to do.
I sent my registered mail and all that to the trustee that I.
Now remember, she said the trustee. Don't forget when I said they're never going to respond. Now pay attention to what she says.
Found, which was U.S. Bank National Trust.
Yep, that's accurate. That's accurate. They're one of them. But let's see if they responded, because I said they ain't never going to respond.
And they never responded. But now I'm doing CFPB. So
now when that don't work, what CFPB means, now I got to go to the consumer laws. I told you y'all, they all do the same shit. When it don't work, they got to find something. They don't know what to do. So let me go to the consumer laws. See, they don't know what goes on back behind that door. You see? That's why I say 98% of people in these spaces have no clue what's really going on. The Supreme Elite team makes up part of the less than 2% that really knows what's going on. I'm telling you, I'm not saying this to toot my own horn. Like, no, 98%. If you put my classes up against 98% of the people's classes, it blows that shit out the water. Because we are the very few who really knows what's going on.
I guess I'm just asking, was that the appropriate way to do it?
So that's the issue that people...
See, now, when she says that's the appropriate way to do it, y'all keep in mind, Tamika taught a class telling people to do exactly what this lady just said she did. That's the whole thing. Tamika taught a class telling people to do exactly what she said, what that lady said she did already. Tamika taught a class to do that. That's what she said. Was that the appropriate way? Now, Tamika is about to switch it, because I'm watching in real time with y'all, but I know her. So she's about to switch it and make it seem like, oh, there were some issues out there. And it's not going to come back to her giving wrong information, because she will never admit that her information is wrong.
People are having. So one thing about this process is when everybody...
I sent my registered mail and all that to the trust, never responded. But now I'm doing CFPB. So I guess I'm just asking, was that the appropriate way to do it?
So that's the issue that people are having. So one thing about this process is when everybody start doing the same thing.
There you go. Okay. Everybody start doing the same. I knew it. It's all over. When you know what the problem is? You was teaching everybody to do the same thing. You put the shit all on you. You ain't say that then. See, you ain't say it then when you was taking their money for that last process. Yo, I'm gonna do it in a controlled manner, maybe only 5-10 people, because I don't want it out there like that. It may fuck it up for every. You was just teaching everybody, taking all the money. Now you blame it. Oh, but everybody starts to do the same thing. The problem is they was never going to respond from the beginning. That's the issue. You taught them wrong. But as the narcissist that she is, it's never Tamika's fault. It's always going to be her fault, your fault. You had a block on your phone. I didn't get the consultation because you wasn't available. They've been sitting by the phone. Oh, there's a block on your phone. I tried to call. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. You know what? I'm just going to refund. Like, Tamika is never wrong. Now it's when everybody starts to do the same thing. But wasn't you teaching everybody to do the same thing? Weren't you? Weren't you teaching everybody to do the same thing?
Over and over again, they try to find a way to block it or.
And that's the same thing. Oh, they always trying to find a way to block it. Always trying to find a way to block it. Always trying to find a way to block it. No, the problem is everybody that's doing it, 98% of them are doing it the wrong way from the beginning. That's the issue.
Or try to change the rules or whatever. Okay.
Every time.
So looking at your contract itself, we know that this was assigned to JP Morgan Chase Bank.
So what the fuck does that mean? Every day try to find a rule change again. Okay, let's just say that's true. So what have you come up with a way to combat and do? You see what I'm saying? So what's your answer? Because she's looking for an answer, not that. That's not an answer. That's just a blame game.
Okay. So you're gonna flip this over on the back and you're gonna put pay to the order of JP Morgan Chase Bank. Because that is who's holding the contract. No. That is who the debt is actually owed to.
You know what's so crazy? This must be this is an older video. Want to know why it's an older video? And it's so sad that she put this out 2 months ago just to make money, not knowing that this is the same class where a lot of people fell out with Tamika behind. Because she was telling them do that, endorse the contract, and none of that shit worked. And it's a shame that she put this video out 2 months ago and got 50,000 views 2 months ago. The stamp endorse. That was the name of the class. Yep. Stamp endorse send. Yep. That was the class where a lot of people left Tamika. So this is an old video. But you know, this is how greedy she is, and she don't give a fuck. She knows she blocked a lot of people from this class. She knows she start talking shit about a lot of people from this class. And what did she do 2 months later? Look, 2 months ago, she puts it out like this is a good source of information. And the only thing she wanted to do was collect a YouTube check off it. Shorty is a piece of shit for real.
When they assigned it, okay? Is the second part to it, but we ain't got there. But initially, to get everything paid off, we're going to assign it to the bank that it goes to, which is JP Morgan Chase Bank. Caleb can tell you, you sent this to JP Morgan, correct?
That's exactly who I sent it to.
Okay.
Sure did.
And if y'all notice, it's already on my page where his is paid off. He got his title. He got everything.
Okay. Well, hold on.
Okay.
And that's also why, if you look,
that was a lie. It came out. This is an old video. It came out as a lie. It came out as a lie. It came out as a lie. This is an old video. Caleb even admitted on Core B's show, he never really got remedy from anything she's teaching. That was a lie. This is all a lie. This is a scam right now to collect money from people just for this. Caleb already admitted that was a lie. Caleb admitted that he lied and said he got remedy from her when he didn't get remedy. I reviewed that Core B and Caleb show the other day. I reviewed it. Caleb has already come out and said that it was a lie. And where's Caleb in the chat? Where is Caleb in the chat? And Core B, if you go back and watch the show later, I told you stop fucking with that. Look, comments turned off. I bet it's turned off. Why would comments be turned off? Want to know why? Want to know why she purposely turned the comments off? Because she know people that actually took this class and took her advice will see this video and comment saying that shit don't work. She a scam. Why do you think she turned the comments off? If it really worked, and you got real evidence that it worked, why you turn the comments off? That's a telltale sign. That's a lie. And she turned the comments off because she know people will come back and say that was a lie. Caleb already admitted he ain't get no remedy. It's in one of my videos. I think I had Caleb in the title. He already admitted that he lied and said he got remedy from what she's teaching. He didn't get it. It's a fucking lie. This shit's crazy. Hey, babe, these motherfuckers desperate, man. They need about 2 or 3 jobs. They desperate as hell out here.
My account, the account that I had with them was under Chase. It was through the finance company, but it was the contract also.
If you give me 20 seconds, I will guarantee that you sign 20 clients. How? Well, I'm going to help you use the exact same system that helped me.
I'm tired of this commercial. If you just give me $200, you're going to be a rich and overnight. Shut the fuck up. Like that shit happened overnight. Even the lady, she don't even look like she believe that shit. Because how the fuck, like, man, come on, man. It's shit common sense.
And I went over the security interest
I don't want to hear
portions.
your bitch ass.
That was the first thing I
want to hear your
This is why the repo man can find you wherever you at. Yeah, you can take, which goes back to when I was saying that before you go file any court cases or arbitration cases, give them an opportunity to settle out with you first, because by right, we have to. Right.
And this is the class where they said that arbitration shit ain't work either. So this is very much an old video. This is very much old, because she fell out with a lot of people behind this because none of this shit worked.
Right. And if it's done right, as we said, they'll normally, as y'all see with him, within 30 days, I think it was like 14 days or so after he sent that off to them. And it was time for his first payment, because remember, the contract is the payment. So when it was time for his first payment, he sent it off to them. Instead of sending them cash, he sent them their contract back. And normally they will want to work with you, because every time a federal lawsuit is filed against them, every time arbitration is done against them, they fear that the FTC, the CFPB, the Security Exchange is going to start finding.
So when you this is how they respond. You actually get notifications. Thank you for your recent communication. We have reviewed our records and are writing to provide the following update. We have closed your account and ceased collections. You have no further obligation regarding this account. Please contact us if you have any additional.
You're rocking with the best.
And that's all based on the accounting and stuff that I'm talking about. So what it boils down to it is, if it works, and I didn't even want to, I wasn't really interested in doing it, but they tried to play me, so I had to get them. But you're going to have some, that's my name on it. You're going to have some type of paper trail. Like, there's going to be some type of paper trail. Tamika has no paper trail. Tamika has no paper trail. Tamika has zero paper trail. none of her shit works. And this is why she know better. Just like everybody that fell into this. Yeah, how could y'all fall for this though? You have about 50 different people selling this shit, but they all got the same format. Not like they work for the same company. They all got the same format, and everybody fell for this. I had my broker look this shit up. All fraud. Not real. Actually, Fidelity actually has be on the lookout for people trying to send this in. Y'all see that red arrow going up? That means y'all go that way.
Okay, so it looks like on our side, we do not hold a copy of the deed or the title. You would need to get in contact with the county.
Okay, well, it was released, satisfied. So the county will actually have the deed to the home.
Correct. We do not hold a copy of that. You would have to get in contact with the county.
Okay, what is this showing up on her mortgage account?
What was that?
What is anything show? Is it showing up satisfied on her mortgage account?
I haven't even pulled that side. Give me just a moment. That's just Interline.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, it looks like the balance is zero. Zero. Looks like the balance is zero.
Oh.
Looks like the balance is zero. Okay, it looks like the balance is zero.
Okay. All right.
Them. Okay. That's when you will see something on the news and say, oh, Wells Fargo had to pay $31 trillion. That came from complaints that raised the eyebrows of these particular entities. And then they got fined for it. Okay.
Can I ask one thing?
Mm-hmm.
So right now my situation is, so I actually found the trustee's phone number. I found his cell phone number. Okay. I called his number. He was so surprised that I called him. He was startled. To make a long story short, I made him give me his personal cell phone. I got his email address. He gave me his email address. And so he never really responded. So that's when I seen somebody on one of your posts did a CFPB and had got remedies. So I went through the CFPB. So mine right now, the company answered. I haven't paid. I never not paid my car note, but it'll make 30 days. It made 30 days. So now it's another month that's due. But basically, I just said in my complaint that I'm writing to them to make a complaint against Mercedes-Benz. I said my complaint pertains to their handling of the vehicle financing, which as per under the Security Exchange Act has raised concerns of potential violations with securities frauds and tax evasion. And I just put that my promissory note and certificate of indebtedness was securitized by this company, where they also received a QSIP number and engaged in trading activities. And then I put in, I said, according to the 10K form, this is U.S. Bank National. It's the indenture trustee. I put the indenture trustee name. I put the date that the registered mail was received via UPS. I put the registered mail tracking number in there. I put the CEO name, and I put when I spoke to Juan, when I called him and he gave me his email. So now I'm just waiting for the CFP waiting for that company response. So it's just pending right now. They answered back on the 23rd. So I'm like, did I do the right thing?
All they're gonna say is we have verified this account, and and that shit gonna show up as another red X on your credit report. Yolanda Joshua, you are setting yourself up for failure. And that's the problem. They don't even see they sending themselves up shit creek by trying to get out of their obligations in a disingenuous way. That's what it boils down to. Most people just find out shit like this and act like they don't got to pay a bill. That's all it is. It ain't no real understanding or knowledge going on. They just trying to do shit to get out of a bill. Notice how she just doing shit. Yolanda Joseph, how she just doing shit, don't really understand what she doing. She just following the script. This is what happens every time when you just do shit. Yeah, what? Yeah, it's just.
Jeff Gamble.
Mr. Gamble, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
This is Lamont Thomas.
Yeah, good.
Hey, nice talking to you. I just wanted to let you know personally, I appreciate your help with the matter of resolving this with credit acceptance. I did receive the title. I appreciate the fast expedition on that, but just wanted to give you a thank you, man. I appreciate your hard work, man.
No, I'm glad we were able to work it out.
Yes,
and you were a big part of that process too. So
yes, most definitely.
Just sit for a bit, and the momentum when people are working towards the goal,
Yep.
really helps.
Yes, sir.
The process.
Yes, sir.
I too am thankful for your role in that as well. But I really appreciate the call.
Yes, sir. Maybe one day we can go head out to a restaurant and I can just pick your brain a little bit, man, because your record is an exceptional, man. Now, for real, your record is an exceptional, man. For real. Be a speed dial way. Yeah.
You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best.
To be honest with you, pay your fucking bills. If you know how to recoup on the back end, do that. If you don't, just pay your bills. You know what prevent her from doing this? Don't get caught up in contracts which you know you can't afford. See, this is bad money management. See, she's the source of her problems because she doesn't know how to manage her money. See, most people think they could just tack on a whole lot of debt on their one income and then they'll just figure it out as they go. See, that's the model for a lot of Americans. This is why a lot of them, after their bills are paid, they're never in a surplus. Most people, after their bills are paid, they're waiting for their next check. Most people, their biggest deposits of the year at one time is their income tax returns. See, when you join the Supreme Elite team, you'll learn you'll be getting those deposits all year.
Don't miss out on this opportunity to litigate like a seasoned professional. Join the Supreme Elite Team University.
Thomas in the lobby, folded thicker than a skyline. Credit acceptance on a resume, war stories in the fine lines.
Around. We get them all year round. We get these deposits all year round. It's a difference.
And like, I don't know if I said it correctly but
you absolutely did. And now you've raised the eyebrows of the CFPB. So while you're doing,
no, the fuck she didn't. No, the fuck she didn't. Because they see this shit coming a mile away. They know what angle she coming from. They see it all the time.
Doing this process, develop, taking away their security interests and their right to repossess.
How you gonna do that if you don't know the game? That's all she say. Develop, taking away their security interests. How you gonna do that if you don't know the game? How you gonna do that?
Okay, get it notarized, send it in. Now with Mercedes-Benz, we are dealing with securities. Every corporation has a securitization department.
Okay.
Every one of them. Okay.
They really think that they have a securitization department. Hey, Supreme Elite team, do you think they know there's about 8 or 9 players that's involved in one single securitization? Hey, Supreme Elite team, do you think they can identify all 8 or 9 players? At least the most important 5 of them? Y'all think they can? Put a 1 in the chat if you think they can identify all 8 or 9 players, or at least the 5 most important ones. If they can, put a 2 in the chat if you don't think they can. Because the real issue is a lot of these people doing shit, they don't even know all the players of the game. Like, the shit that we go over in the Supreme Elite team, I could charge $5,000 for it. And they will get so much more out of that shit than what they paying here. Like, we go over this shit in the Supreme Elite team as a normal class, but this shit is really like a $5,000 to $10,000 class that I be going having. We go over that shit regular. That's why when y'all see the people that's commenting in the chat like, nah, that ain't how I go. They ain't saying there's an echo chamber. They know that's not how it really goes. They know how it goes. Everybody's in the Supreme Elite team group are on a highly advanced level. So they're looking at it from an advanced level. Nobody in the Supreme Elite team is looking at this contract like this. Everybody in the Supreme Elite team already knows what's going on behind the scenes. And that is a testimony to them and their understanding. Everybody that's in this live right now that's in the Supreme Elite team knows how it really goes behind the scenes. Y'all.
You're rocking with the best.
A moment of acknowledgement. I got to celebrate the set for a second. Got to celebrate the set. Congratulations to the set. Now, Supreme Elite team, y'all see the value of the class that y'all in when y'all watch shit like this?
You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best.
Global Services, how can I help you?
Yes, how you doing, ma'am? My name is Lamont, and I'm calling because I am running a campaign to inform citizens and consumers about people with their false assumptions about QSIPs and trying to obtain QSIPs for court cases, birth certificate.
So you see this one from Private Banker has all the same wording, everything. But I find it interesting because my client in 2023 says she got this for someone in Cali, and it says all the same things. So when I do the reverse search,
Social security numbers. I'm pretty sure you probably heard it before, but I'm just trying
Yes, I have,
yeah, I'm just trying to clarify. Is there any QSIP number that you can get, find, locate, or otherwise identify that is based on a court case, social security number, birth certificate?
So no, QSIP number is hi Lamont. This is Christina, by the way.
How you doing?
Good. I hope you're having a good morning. So QSIP numbers are only assigned to stocks or bonds, which are going to be publicly traded. If you visit our website, which is www.qsip.com, it will give you a list of what qualifies for an actual QSIP identifier. So QSIP identifiers are not assigned to any court cases, any type of criminal bonds or anything of that, or an individual. It's only for corporate securities or municipal securities. So if you do visit our website, there is a list of, it'll explain in detail what actually qualifies for a QSIP number. So that would be the best direction that I could give you for something like that. All those other, any other website, if it's not a QSIP Global Services website, which is the www.qsip.com, all those websites are not true. I have seen them myself where they actually go out to people and request funds, to get their QSIP number and have their bond removed and be released from prison. So that's absolutely not true.
Right. And you forgot the filing of a tax return based on these false QSIP numbers.
Yeah,
that they're
no.
submitting.
We don't issue any QSIP numbers for tax returns or anything like that.
Man, I'm sorry to burden you with all these rhetorical
No, not at
questions.
all. No, not at all. Not at all. Not to
Well,
worry.
and just
You're
to
not the
clarify,
first person that's called about this.
I know. Oh, trust me, ma'am. I know. And to be clear, QSIPs Global in the United States are the ones that issue QSIP numbers.
QSIP Global Services. Yes,
Okay.
we issue QSIP numbers.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank
You're
you.
very welcome, Lamont. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too, ma'am.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Release out their obligation. It's the same accounting mechanism. It's the same one. You're calling yourself a teacher.
Welcome to this episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Where knowledge is dark and ignorance is light. Stick around to the end of the video as Thomas Legacy dissect another social media guru.
So you are being sued. You got a summons, and this is why I want to talk about securitization, because
And this is where she's wrong from the beginning, because once you're being sued, that's it. So if you're being sued, that means you're coming in as the defendant. Already wrong.
A lot of y'all are confused on what securitization really is. I'm getting so many emails. I mean, when I tell y'all, my emails, my DMs are flooded with requests on summonses. Okay, so we're going to talk about what securitization really is.
According to the top investment bankers, the FDIC, the SEC, all of the accounting institutions, securitization is a process of converting long-term illiquid debt into short-term liquid cash, pledging of long-term debt to get short-term cash. That is the gist of it. Let's see what she says.
sending out a securitization request letter, you are seeking true ownership of the debt. So they have to prove something to you. They have to provide some documentation that proves that they own the debt.
Wrong again, because what you ask them, that's what they're going to send you, or they remain silent. It doesn't mean you're going to get out the debt. I'm telling you, they will send you something back.
The creditor is suing you. You have to know and understand that even the original creditor, Capital One, Chase, whoever, they don't even own the debt. The creditor is just a servicer. Creditor is just a servicer.
Small misunderstandings like that can throw your whole defense off.
There are multiple owners when it comes to a lawsuit from a creditor and a debt collector.
Wrong.
See, when you went to that lender to get that loan.
But you said the creditor is the servicer. So how do you go to a servicer to get a loan?
Okay, that auto loan, that personal loan, student loans, whatever. The bank then creates a SPV. Okay, so the SPV stands for Special Purpose Vehicle.
So they sell the loans into the SPV.
This is the problem with just regurgitating what you think is true. That's false. That is wrong. I'm not going to tell you on here. That's reserved for my groups, though.
See, the SPV acts as a trust account. So
see, that's limited knowledge, because they also act as a LLC, a corporation, a partnership. So depending on the structure, that's how they function. Why did you just say trust account when it's more?
What they're doing is a true sale agreement, which means that now the loans is transferred.
Okay, I'm gonna need my Supreme Elite team members on here and the members that was just in the last webinar. You already know that's wrong. That's the biggest thing. That's what they all believe. Truth, I'm telling you, you in that webinar, you saw it black and white. She doesn't understand what's really going on. She doesn't understand that's not what's going on. That's the biggest trick.
Into the SPV. This is securitization, where it goes from one hand to another.
Supreme Elite team, stand up. Now y'all see the value of the group, because securitization is the packaging and pulling of long-term illiquid assets and converting them into short-term liquid assets. The securities are sold through the issuing entity, backed by the long-term illiquid assets, and sold to investors on the secondary market or institutional lenders. That's what securitization is. It's not this.
This is securitization, where it goes from one hand to another. So there is something called asset-backed securities, okay? So asset-backed securities is financial instruments. So financial instruments is nothing but a promissory note.
This is another reason why these spaces are dangerous. She's saying financial assets are nothing but promissory notes, and that's simply not true. The top accounting firms, the government, the regulatories, the FDIC, SEC, they don't even define financial assets as just promissory notes because they encompass a broad range of financial instruments, stocks, bonds, notes, securities, deposits, anything that has a value that evidences the right to receive payment for one party to another party can be a financial asset. So by her just limiting, and if you can see right here, financial institutions, her limiting the definition of financial assets to a promissory note, let me know she's just still a rookie.
To that financial institution, you made a promise to pay in writing with the lender. That is what created the promissory note.
No, ma'am, that's not what it created when you're dealing with a securitization or any finance transaction. It's not creating a promise to pay. A promise to pay is embedded in the contract. I can't even say the word because they're going to steal that, but that's not what it created.
So the promissory note is what they call a financial instrument. So
Along with a stock, along with a bond, along with a shares, along with any other security.
your signature agreed to pay them with interest. Once that promissory note was signed, that instrument now becomes the foundation, okay, of the debt.
And this is the benefits of being in Supreme Elite team. My students know more than these teachers. They know more than them because that's not the basis. The basis of your debt already started before you even walked into the financial institution. It already started before. There's 4 transactions going on at the same time. That's the part that people don't understand.
Now this so-called debt can be sold, assigned, transferred to other entities, other companies, and investors.
This is why the securitization request letter is so powerful when you know how to properly utilize it the right way.
There we go. I was waiting on it. I was waiting for the punchline. She's selling a document. She's selling a document that you're going to go send to them and request a securitization. That's what she's going to do after you already used the credit card, after you already got the services, after they already sue you. You're going to come in and say, request the securitization. Well, let's just see how that normally works out.
This is why the securitization request letter is so powerful.
So, Mr. Chavez, what is the defense on this case? What is your defense?
I needed to see one of the documents. But my defense is that, I've been researching the law and, the powers of the banks. And it's more of a accuracy of the actual accounting that I'm trying to make sure and, make sure that everything is accurate. So it's not my intent to not pay anything, but I need to know, based off the accounting that I am paying what I'm supposed to be paying. And based on what they're saying,
your last payment, back on 5/15/23, you owe $3,398.36.
After you already used the card and made payments on it?
And they're coming for $3,398.36. That was the balance on the card at that time. Disputing that you had the card, right?
But that's not the issue at hand.
No, it is the issue at hand. The issue at hand is, did you have a credit card? Did you use money on that card? And did you not pay the card off? That's the only question.
Oh.
Right. Those are the questions.
Okay, my defense is I am the lender and they borrowed from me.
What did they borrow from you?
My personal security, which I'm
No,
entitled to.
I'm not buying that. No. Listen to me. Listen.
It's not about, I have it.
I'm going by the law, I'm not just making
no.
I have it. I'm entitled to.
And they borrowed from me.
Oh.
Right.
Those
So,
are the questions.
Okay, my defense is I am the lender and they borrowed from me.
What did they borrow from you?
my personal security, which I'm entitled to.
No, I'm not buying that. No. Listen to me. Listen.
It's not about, I have it.
I'm going by the law, I'm not just making
No, you're not going by the law. You're making up the laws as you go along. You took a credit card out. You agreed with that. And then you had a credit card. You used the credit card. You have a balance on the card and you didn't pay on the card. They don't owe you anything.
So so when I asked for the application, the evidence that opened up the account, because they go by GAAP accounting principles. If my application opened up the account, that means there will be a credit on my account because that's a cash equivalent. That's what the law says.
All right, when you walked into that financial institution, you made a promise to pay in writing with the lender. That is what created the promissory note.
Mr. Royce, I don't have a motion for summary disposition in the file.
This is why the securitization request letter is so powerful.
Here's the next hearing.
I mean, Mr. Chavez, do you have a defense on this case?
I just want to go through the due process.
Okay, all right, here's what we're going to do. Do we need discovery on this? What, Mr. Goldthal, so this is a credit card bill?
Yes, Your Honor, a Discover card.
All right, and this is Discover Bank, so there's no issue as to whether or not it's transferred hands?
No, Your Honor, we represent the original creditor.
When a creditor is suing you, you have to know and understand that even the original creditor, Capital One, Chase, whoever, they don't even own the debt.
Well, it looks like he's being sued by the original creditor.
All right, this is an account stated under NCR 2.116, parent I. This court is making a ruling immediately based on the pleadings.
The answer from Mr. Arnold indicates that he does not dispute that the card was taken out.
The only dispute he appears to have is that a few paragraphs here, he does not agree with the fact that by virtue of defendant's default and breach, the entire balance of the account is now due, and these statements were attached. That the contract and or monthly statements are written instruments, evidence indebtedness with a specified interest rate, and that he disputes whether or not it's account stated. It clearly is.
It's the original creditor. There's no sort of defense regarding assignment on this case. The balance
at the time of the complaint was $4,378.29. Under NCR 2.116, parent I, parent 1.
The pleadings show that a party is entitled to judgment as a matter of law, or if the affidavits or other proofs
show that there is no genuine issue of material fact,
the court shall render judgment without delay, and the court is doing so.
So let's say you got negative accounts on your consumer report, like an auto loan, a personal loan, student loan. We know that these type of loans are transferred into an SPV. Okay, so if you got creditors or debt collectors reporting this information, that is not correct. Okay.
Actually, ma'am, you are wrong once again. Just because your loan was securitized does not mean the servicer cannot report to the credit agencies. They do it all the time. They're authorized by law. People have tried to sue because of it. It's going to get shut down. Just because your loan was securitized does not mean it's not going to be reported to the credit agencies. And this is another problem with people trying to teach this highly complex, highly advanced system of financing with just their little vague beliefs of what they know what's going on. That cannot be farther from the truth. This is what happens when you don't join the Supreme Elite Team group. You'll get documents and packages, but you won't get deep dived understanding of what's really going on, black and white.
That is unlawful, and you have the right to set up a paper trail, okay, requesting documentation, sending out your securitization request letter, sending your notice to the CRAs, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, that forces them to prove accuracy, okay? And if they can't prove accuracy, they have to remove that account, those accounts, completely from your consumer report.
The creditor can use a servicer to report to the credit agencies.
You letting them know in your notice that you believe the accounts have been sold, assigned, or securitized. The CRAs have to provide documentation from the creditor proven ownership. Okay.
So when they respond as the new creditor, then what?
So even if you believe that a creditor is possibly trying to sue you, but they haven't filed the claim yet, you can send them the securitization request letter, okay? Request the documents, beat them to the punches. So securitization is pretty much change of ownership, okay? So you're challenging the creditor's ownership, okay? So if they transfer the loans into an SPV account, special purpose vehicle, they no longer owns the debt.
She thinks that when she thinks that an SPV is set up as soon as you go get the loan. The SPV's been set up years before you even thought about getting the loan. And she also thinks that when they transfer it to an SPV, they no longer own the debt. The assets being transferred to the SPV is on behalf of the creditor. And the original servicer is just servicing the debt, lady. They're just servicing it. You're wrong again.
So if a creditor is bringing about a claim, it is unlawful.
So, John Michael? John Michael, yes, sir. Okay. What did you want to tell me about your motion?
Well, I asked all of the parties involved for validations, and I sent a statement of facts, and none of which were responded to, so that would be acquiescence to the truth of my statements, which should stand in truth and commerce.
None of the information is correct.
I asked for a contract and demonstration where there was adequate consideration given, and did not receive any of that. It's my understanding that the
Consumer credit transaction, or the application, was taken by the Citibank and Best Buy to securitize the collateral to the Department of the Treasury for their funds, to securitize the collateral.
This is why the securitization request letter is so powerful.
They were paid, and now they're asking for me to pay in addition to that. I did not realize any of this was true until recently.
I find it odd that nobody knows what's going on till they're being sued, till they got some debt, till they're getting summons. Nobody knows. Nobody's doing any investigation until they run into financial troubles or getting sued. I find it odd that nobody knows until those moments.
and now if I'm continuing to be required to make payments in any form of negotiable instruments, they are, in my opinion, are being unjustly enriched. They've never given me a contract with a signature. They've given me
Verification by bills and statements, but never anything that would demonstrate that they ever had anything at risk or that they lost anything.
You need to know how to enforce your rights and know how to play the game. So if you are being sued or you suspect a lawsuit may come, you need to send a securitization request letter, okay? And if they already filed a claim, you receive the summons, you still have the right to send that securitization request letter.
Emotional, damn it. This is what I mean all day, every day is what I see on here. It's the same misinformation, misguided, no context. Everything in this lady's video was 100% false in the execution. All the stuff that I commented in the video, I'm not going to rehash now, but she did say something that I'm going to speak on now. She said if you're being sued, if you get a summons or they've already done it, you can still request the securitization packet. That's not going to stop them from suing you. That's not going to stop nothing. Once you're being sued, you're in court. That's it. And you are going to lose as the defendant. The Supreme Elite team, we don't wait for these moments like what she's saying. She is telling you to be defensive. And all these teachers are telling you to be defensive because they don't know how to step in federal court and get federal rules enforced accurately. Why would you send a securitization letter to them when you're already being sued? They're coming after you at that point, and they're not going to respond because you're being sued. It's in court now. You think that letter is going to scare them off en masse? No. Every company is not going to roll over and play dead for y'all. That's not how it goes. Supreme Elite team, we teach you how to go on the offense and you sue them first. We don't wait to be sued. We go get them first. And if you're using a credit card and you've made payments on the credit card and then you are being sued on that credit card, you cannot come in and say securitization, because once you swipe the card, that is an admission, and all that stuff behind the scenes doesn't matter. What you have to do is make sure the balance is zero or you're current, stop using the card or send it back to them, and then sue as the plaintiff. These defensive mechanisms don't work. What she said is going to lead a lot of people to get in judgments, defaults. People are going to lose their homes, their cars, everything. And I live what I teach. I live it every day. And I'm telling you, this is not the way to go. And I have professionals on my team. So y'all tap in. Thomas Legacy 603, 18 months of dedication, hard work, and research in preparing my lawsuit. And I can come to you on good authority today to tell you that we have reached a settlement in the credit acceptance matter.
They said take the deal. They say you can't win. Thomas read the fine print, smile. Say watch this then, watch this.
It's going to begin the same way they begin.
Pressure back.
26 is going to begin the same way they ended 2025. All talking, posting everything they do every 5 seconds. Every document they put together, they posting it. And they just keep posting it. And I noticed one thing. Why do these gurus always post documents that they just filed? Now, like, I can see if you're going over it in your class and y'all, see how this document measure up to what we was going over. Okay. But it's like they're posting documents that they just filed. And it's like, do they want somebody to come contest? Do they want somebody to see if they know what they're talking about? Because there's this person on Facebook, I'm gonna name her name. She's taking on a client's mortgage. And she said, reading the mortgage, I found this. But when they're posting, one thing that they're never posting, they're posting from books they read, they posted from documents they found on Scrib. But one thing that they're not posting is actual court cases that are validating what they're saying. They're posting the documents they just filed. But then when it comes to the finality of the case, they don't ever want to tell you the case. They don't ever want to tell you the outcomes. They all say that they won. They all say that they won, but they never want to show you the order. They don't want to show you the settlement.
Welcome to the recap of yesterday's live stream from the New Culture Empire. It is official. Thomas' lawsuit against Credit Acceptance Corporation is now in the settlement phase. This unprecedented settlement highlights the elite-level litigation skills of Thomas. This further confirms that his assertions, what he teaches, and his professional approach to pro se civil litigation, having been praised by top professionals in the litigation field on his precision-like accuracy with case citations, how he drafts his complaints, and his ability to navigate through the nuances and complexities of the court legal system. Is it now time to acknowledge Thomas as one of the leaders in pro se civil litigation? Or what he accomplished is nothing special? The bigger question is, when are the social media teachers going to start showing their court wins or settlements? You be the judge, you be the jury, and you be the trier of fact. And don't forget to subscribe to the New Culture Empire and the new channel, Drama News.
Run it up, running in bang. Whipping up, he got sauce in my hand. She rolling the dice, got luck in that van. Smoking that leaf, going global stand. On my wrist like a stage, I can't glance. You look like you wanna let go straight. What's up? I thought so, okay. I'm back in this symphony, stuck on a band. What's up? I thought so, okay, yeah.
Ain't that serious though. It's hard out here. It gets hard for everyone. This is not a process where if you don't get $100 million off the government, you're not successful. It was never that. It was all a scam. It was all a fraud. You're never going to get $100 million off the government. That will never happen. Even if your documents are legit, they're not fucking cashing you out $100 million. Regardless of how legitimate you think it is, just look at the reality of it. Why would the government cash you out $100 million? The thing, being modest has gone completely out the window. What do you think is going to happen when the judge sees our documents versus what you see on social media today? Because I'm gonna tell you this, unless any of them can prove that they got professionals that says, yeah, they're correct, I would stay far away from them. Because no matter how you look at it, it's all the variation of the same sovereign citizen. So it doesn't matter how it's titled, it doesn't matter how it's styled, no, it doesn't matter if you reject the title of a sovereign citizen. If you submitted a process or done a process with that intent, you were doing a sovereign citizen process, whether you knew it or not. The non-payment, because the reality is, if they're truthful, they'll say this: the reason why I stopped paying is because I got into this group and they said, and I learned that you didn't loan me nothing or this, so I didn't have to pay my debts anymore. So I stopped paying my debts. That is 98% of why many people in these spaces stop paying their debts. And why did they do that? It's not because they just read a piece of paper. If they got the money to pay, they were falling behind on their bills anyway. Money was tight already anyway. So that's the operating event that starts to trigger these beliefs. I can't afford it anyway, or it's kicking my ass, or I don't want to pay it anyway. So since that's the inner reason, now I'm going to use, I found this online, I researched this, I studied this. So now the real reason is that they just can't afford it, don't want to pay, but they'll use these, I just found the fraud on my rights. That's the vehicle that makes it make sense in their mind. They know logically, stop paying your bills, that's foolish. So they'll start to bring up all these other reasons. But in the reality, when most people are in these positions, it's because they found some shit online and they told them they didn't have to pay, coupled with the fact that they already couldn't afford the bill anymore anyway, or didn't want to pay. So that's the psychological conversation they had with themselves to, okay, so it makes it easier because you don't really want to pay the bill anymore anyway. Marbury versus Madison. In sovereign citizen legal theories, Marbury versus Madison in 1803. Are you serious? Is frequently cited out of context to challenge the authority of statutes or the jurisdiction of courts. While the case legally established the principle of judicial review, the power of federal courts to declare laws unconstitutional, sovereign citizens often misinterpret specific quotes to claim that any law they personally deem unconstitutional is void and can be ignored without a court ruling. The void ab initio argument. Sovereign citizens freely quote the passage, an act of the legislature repugnant of the Constitution is void. They cite that every day. They use this argument that they have the individual right to decide which laws are unconstitutional and therefore are not required to follow traffic laws, pay taxes, or recognize the authority of the court. The UCC is statutory law. It's not common law. Hope you didn't know that. The UCC is not common law. The UCC is statutory law.
Full times, Your Honor, and they accepted that.
Okay, and again, I am denying that request and not ordering that that be produced.
And at that time, Your Honor, can I then object and that you, Your Honor, and the officers of this courts have entered into rights violations underneath the U.S. 18-242 deprivation of rights underneath the color of law. May I enter that into the record, please?
Well, I mean, you just stated it, so I don't need to make a finding.
Your Honor, the only thing that I would mention is
the declaration that Ms. Bailey submitted verified under penalty of perjury that the American Ag Credit was in possession of the original note, and that it was.
They got a declaration. They got an affidavit, and you didn't do nothing to rebut the affidavit to prove that they wasn't an original note. See, the difference, not everybody else out there, you know what they're going to do? Everybody else out there is going to ask these people to produce the original note. The Supreme Elite team, we tell you, you don't have the original note. And if you do have the original note, your original note is invalid. The movement may appeal to people facing financial or legal difficulties or wishing to resist perceived government oppression. Now, at the origination of the sovereign citizen movement, it was perceived government oppression. Now, I think the former has taken control. It's pretty much people facing financial or legal difficulties and can't afford to pay the bill or don't want to pay the bill anymore. As a result, it has grown significantly during times or economic social crisis. Most schemes sovereign citizens promote aim to avoid paying taxes, ignore laws, eliminate debts, or extract money from the government. Securitization letter to them when you're already being sued. They're coming after you at that point, and they're not going to respond because you're being sued. It's in court now. You think that letter is going to scare them off en masse? No. Every company is not going to roll over and play dead for y'all. That's not how it goes. Supreme Elite team, we teach you how to go on the offense and you sue them first. We don't wait to be sued. We go get them first. And if you're using a credit card and you made payments on the credit card and then you are being sued on that credit card, you cannot come in and say securitization, because once you swipe the card, that is an admission, and all that stuff behind the scenes doesn't matter. Court works differently from a lot of way people think. I'm just going to tell you, court works totally different. Court is not, oh, accounting and securitization, chain of title. You want to know why those cases fall? Prime example from a court case off the top of my head. A borrower cannot use the accounting as a legal defense because the accounting for the transaction is only for financial reporting purposes. Oh, a borrower cannot use lack of chain of assignment from a securitization as a legal defense because the borrower is not a party to the securitization agreement.
What? But you can't do this to me. You know how much I sacrificed?
I mean, there's court cases all over the world. So when you come with accounting securitization and that's your legal defense, you're going to fail. And that is what I'm trying to say. Your legal defenses and your legal vehicles in which you bring those claims are totally separate from just saying accounting and securitization. The accounting and the securitization, as I mentioned all throughout my filings, was only used to support my legal cause of action. It wasn't my legal cause of action itself. I always hop on not being desperate in my group, because when you become desperate, you make decisions that are not in your best interest and they actually do more damage to you than good in the moment. But when you're in a desperate state of mind, you're not thinking objectively. When you're emotionally attached to the situation, you're not thinking objectively. No matter what's going on around you, the system is going to stay the way it is. The court process is going to play out the way it is. The court proceedings are going to play out how they always go. And they're not going to speed it up or give you favoritism just because you need to keep your house or your vehicle in the moment. The court system is the court system, and feelings and emotions have no business inside of a. That's pretty much the preliminary settlement terms. I got you. This one email is more than what any of them ever got.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm the only one that has ever in these spaces in the last 30 years that could produce something like this. Credit acceptance will close your account and forgive the outstanding debt. Credit acceptance will agree to request the deletion of its trade line from your credit report. The parties will dismiss the lawsuit with prejudice. The parties will agree to mutual release of claims. The party will enter into a confidential settlement agreement. None of your gurus will ever get that. None of them. None of them. I am your teacher's teacher.
When they ask who wrote the feature, who's the man behind the speakers? Tell them that's my quiet leader. Time has started teachers teaching.
What if I told you you were right?
Yes.
And he says, from our initial talk, he said, your things that you got and you're preparing for whoever you're doing it for. He said, it's point on. He says, you're absolutely right.
Wow. Wow. And the U.S. District Courts as well.
Yeah, as U.S. District Courts as well. He said, that's where you tear them the fuck apart.
Yep.
He says, when I get done with them, he said, they don't even have a leg to stand on. He says, they go in the back rooms with me and settle out.
You're rocking with the best.
They say you can't win. Time is read the fine print, smile. Say, watch this, then watch this. Oh my God, it's that. I'm not even at my best yet. I can't slow down, it's a death threat. She said, oh, it's really cause of me. I'm like, yes. Diamonds in the cut, I ain't need a medic. Like a brown skin, big booty, yeah. And her name and legacy set. I'm not your girl. Don't call me a legacy. Sorry, you right. That's my bad. That shit get tricky when you running out of bands and the crew really like me. I'm the man. I'm like, girl, I'm in the zone. I'm like, girl, leave me alone. We done made it all the way from basement home. So what the fuck do you want? Yeah. Like, girl, what you want? I told her do not call my phone. I told her do not call my phone. And now they all on my drip. Yeah. It's really all on my drip. Hey, we really all in the mix. Yeah. It's really all in the mix. Yeah. Oh my God, it's that. I'm not even at my best. Yeah. I can slow down. It's a death threat. She said, oh, it's really cause of me. Yes. I'm like, yes.